What are you chuckling about? You the amateur up here. What you laughing about?
That I'm the amateur.
Have you ever done a podcast before? Anything like that?
Mm-mm.
How do you fit? Slow down on that wine now. I know you just ran to the gas station. Jasmine only like wine that's $7 and under. What is that? What is that? Wild Irish Rose?
It's whatever you had in your house. I popped the bottle here, so
Yo, you ain't gonna be able to lean like that the whole episode. You gonna have a crook in your neck. You know that, right?
what?
You gonna have a crook in your neck. Mary was good.
What's up, Hemp? What up, everybody? Nice to see y'all on this thankful day.
Huh?
There you go. Hemp.
What do you mean by that, Mary?
Isn't it Thanksgiving today?
What whitewashing are you referring to?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm just saying it's another day to be thankful.
Why?
Why you not thankful for your life? What do you mean? Why?
Why is it today though? Why today?
I said it's another
It's
day.
another thankful day.
Right.
Meaning there are others.
I thought it was called Thanksgiving. Do you know what happened on this day, or you just?
Oh my God! Here we go.
Don't call Guy. He ain't coming. Don't call Guy. He is not coming. I'm just trying to understand.
You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There is some things that we do that is positive.
Mute there. Okay, perfect. Mary, what were you saying?
I'm just saying, what's up, everybody? Hope you enjoying y'all day. Y'all good Thursday.
Thank you, Mary. Asia, what up?
What's good with you? Hello, everyone.
What's good, Asia?
Right, gotta watch what you say around here, boy.
Yo, why you did this? What fucking year is that from?
It's my greetings, everybody.
Oh,
go ahead.
You gotta chill, man. El Capitan, what up, though?
Hey, El Capitan, you know what I'm saying? I'm here.
What
Fresh off the boat. You know what I mean?
What Halloween costume did you get? What
I got this when I went to Florida and I was driving the boat, so I had to get the Capitan hat, man. You know what I'm saying? It was only right.
Word. Bub was good.
Yo, what's poppin'? I'm looking good, feeling good. Strange that he told me I got beautiful feet today, so I'm on cloud 9 right now.
What a beautiful feet.
Word, man. That's what's up, man. Oh man,
Hemp, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm tired all day, man. Thankfully, Jazz came over, so I was able to go downstairs and take a nap. That's why I was bullshitting a little bit. You know how you first wake up, you're like, I'm about to go back to sleep. But then I end up getting up. You know what I'm saying? So, impromptu, here it is on Thanksgiving Day, man. So, you know, if you celebrate this shit, shame on you. But, you know, it's cool, I guess. You know. Did any of you niggas eat turkey today? Did I eat turkey today?
Yes, you ate turkey today.
Oh, shit.
Put him in the fucking bed. Do we have a hypocrite in our midst?
Damn, man,
Is there a hypocrite in our midst today?
I did eat
God
some
forbid.
turkey. Man, I ain't like it that much, though.
So
gobble, gobble, nigga, gobble, gobble.
No, you sucked the bone. I don't know what you're talking about. You didn't like it that much.
Yo, you sucking bones over there, Ham? Wait a minute.
All right.
First off, that's gay.
Johnny, he about to get you out of here for real.
Yeah.
He gonna say you never
you
coming back.
You about out of warnings.
I'm out of warnings. I get extra warnings.
You about no, you don't.
Yes, I do.
But you say he don't own you, right? He don't control you. He don't own you.
Nope. You know the synonym.
Listen, that nigga
It's not as that one.
If anybody is owned, is her in that corner over there with the green background for sure. So y'all can talk that you want to.
Put him in the fucking put him out here. Shit like that.
This might be risky, man. Mary, can I finish the guy? Mary, can I talk to you for a second? Let me talk to you for a second. Your timing is poor.
I be acting like it's my podcast. Go ahead.
Quite well, it is yours, but your timing is poor quite often. when I'm trying to do the intro, when I'm trying to do the outro, when I'm doing my final thought. What in your head says I'm gonna talk now?
Nothing, because it just start with my mouth.
Wow.
That was a great.
Yo, this might be risky, man. We here. Yeah, man, this is awesome. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend. Do us a favor, hit the like button right now, and definitely share this show. It's about to be a good one. I know a lot of people off tomorrow, so who knows which way we could go. This is impromptu, obviously, because we didn't do it yesterday, but we did do the couple show. So I just cooked up something real quick. But if it goes left off that, so be it. All right. What'd you say, Asia?
It's definitely gonna go left. I can feel it. So let's do it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
All right, let me share
what
this
they
video.
want.
Let me share this video real quick. A second. Jazz, you straight?
I'm good.
Yo. All right, hold on. Let me get there.
Person thinks, then you're defenseless against them because they'll go places you can't imagine and then they win. A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very, very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control. The meek shall inherit the earth. And I found out that the word meek, it's the translation of a word that meant something more like those who have swords and know how to use them but keep them sheathed. I thought, oh yes, that's exactly it. The world, those who have swords and know how to use them but choose to keep them sheathed will inherit the world. It's like, yes, exactly right.
Do y'all know who this is? You know who that was? Jordan Peterson. Y'all familiar with him?
Nah, not me.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very familiar with Jordan Peterson. I just never
Not
said
Yeah. So the message, did you guys hear it? Did you understand it?
Yeah.
I heard what he said. Yes.
Should I play it again? Are you guys good on that?
No, I heard what he said. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I heard what he said.
Yo,
don't agree with
the corner. Can you guys nod or make a face or say something like,
Are you talking about us
yes, y'all just sitting there.
or listening?
So you guys got the message? Adrian, you got the message?
I say yeah.
All right, so let's break that video down, right? It could go from what my question I pose here is, but is a good man a dangerous man? So he was saying a harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man that knows how to control it. And what the meek meaning, you got your strap on you just in case you need it and you hope you don't. But you have the ability to use it if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts, Asia?
I think there's a time and place for everything. And so, yes, a man, I'll say a person, because I know how to use a sword too.
No.
And
No.
my gun.
No.
So
We're talking
a
about men.
person
We're
that
talking
knows
about men. No.
is this what we're doing tonight? Wait a minute.
We
I
have
know how to
we
use
have
my pistol
once.
and I know how to use a sword. So I can only
Stop.
speak to
It's not
y'all.
the same.
being
I
able
would
to.
take your sword from you and hit you in the head with the shit. So stop.
I'm gonna shoot you
We're
first. So
talking about
what?
men. We're talking about men. We're talking about men being dangerous. Can you please, for once in your life, stick to the topic?
Probably not. Probably not. To answer your question, I don't want to.
Jesus Christ.
A good person is a dangerous person. And now you got me off topic. I'm drinking tequila too. But what I was trying to say before you interrupted me was
Why are
person
you
knows how to
putting men
use their
and women in
sword.
the same category?
I didn't hear
Why
you
are
say
you
it again.
putting men and women in the same category?
Because if we know how to use a sword, what's the difference? It's a person. The point is the knowing how to use the sword. The knowledge of using a sword is the point. And if I
Do you know
how
how
to use
heavy
my
a
sword,
sword
but
is?
I purposely Don't use it only when it's time. And I know when to use it and when not to use it. Trust and believe. I know when to use it and when not to use it. Because I'm a very wise individual. And that's what I was going to say. A wise person, but you dismissive though? I see it all over your face, your profile. You dismissing me?
Because why are you talking about you? We're not talking about women.
I said people.
Why though? Why?
Because you got people on this podcast.
Even the same gun. We can't use the same gun, Asia.
What?
So
sir?
if they put 50 cal, you
so
can't.
You're trying to say my gun's better than yours? You can't use my gun?
No, there's certain guns that got too much power.
And you can't use it? I know I can. You
gun.
can't use it? I know I can.
No, what I'm saying is this, right? They fit you for a gun, right?
No,
based on a whole bunch of different things. You can buy whatever gun you want to buy, but they fit you for a gun based on what you can handle.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're right.
Like, even
you're right on what I can handle. You're right on what I can. Exactly. I agree with you on that.
So that little ass 32,
what I can handle.
Yeah, that little ass is gonna match a 4.5, but you can't handle the 4.5. That you just can't. 45.
Ham, have you
I know
ever
you
been
go shoot it
before?
You go shoot it for fun. I get that. It's fun.
And
right?
when do you shoot
but
yours?
you're not gonna have that under your bed, because if shit gets shaky, you're not gonna be able to handle that when the bullet's really flying.
Sure? Are you
Yes.
sure? Are you
Yes.
sure about that? Or you just talk outside of your neck because it's Thursday?
I'm sure. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty
like
sure you're
100% sure.
So you're trying to tell me I'm a sucker, and if somebody run up in my crib and if somebody run up in my crib, I'm just here and pull my gun from my bed and give it to him. That's what you're trying to tell me right now? I'm a sucker? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I think you'll pull it from under your bed.
You're trying to say you got more bravery than me? That I don't know how to defend myself? You're bugging for no reason.
Which question you want me to answer? Am I braver than you? Yes.
Correctly.
Yes, I'm much braver than you are. Yeah, that's a fact. Now, do I think you won't defend yourself? No, yourself. But you're not going to have a 40 under your bed down. You're not going to be able to handle that the same way you would be handling 32.
I
know, but you got it. You got it in a box where you're really not going to use it, but you bought it because you got money.
I go to the range once a week.
The one you actually going to use is going to be a little bit smaller because you got to handle it in times of duress. I mean, that just makes sense. That's not even a shot.
When is the last time you handled your 45? Do you even have a 45?
That's exactly what I just said. When was the last time you went to the range, Hamp?
Well,
right, silent.
That path. But that's not the. See, you're misunderstanding. It's such a stupid question, right? But because we're not talking about that. We're just talking about if things are actually happening. Like, I mean, sorry, Jazz. But the thing that you got to understand is you have to have equipment that fits, right? If shit does get shaky, that's all I'm saying. So if you're an outlier, you could use a 45. Okay, cool. But are they less likely to outfit you with that because of the handling?
So now that you're done talking, let me tell you what truth is. Okay.
Are you saying are you saying my logic is not sound?
It's not. It's not. I'm telling you that directly.
I feel like this don't got nothing to do with the question though.
Listen, but I just hate when why the question says he's talking about men, and then we start talking about people. I'm like, why? It's
it's too early, Hamp. It's too early, Hamp. Don't let it. It's too early, bro.
Yo, but why though, Adrian?
Are you gonna let him talk his whole entire segment? Because you cut me off throughout mine. Make sure you cut him off too. If you don't, I will. Don't worry about it. Go ahead, Adrian.
Nah, I was just saying, yo, Hamp, just roll with it, yo. She chose violence already. As soon as before you got the question, she said it was going left.
You know that tequila do it to you every time, boy. That tequila.
And she was taking big gulps of the shit too.
I know her cup's empty over there. Like,
hey, go ahead and answer the question. How you want?
Yeah.
Me or Adrian? You said, hey, I'm sorry. Adrian, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Adrian, go ahead.
All right, thank you, babe. So what I was trying to say for the past 15 minutes is that a person that knows how to use their weapon but doesn't just arbitrarily use it, shows wisdom and restraint. And they are a good person and a dangerous person. They're an awesome person, because people that show no restraint are real reckless with their weaponry, whether it be with their words, whether it be with their fists, whether it be with a weapon, are reckless individuals, and they're dangerous on the other part of the scale, as in they can't be trusted. And I wouldn't want to be with them in any type of battle. The person that shows restraint and wisdom, I want to be down with them and them be on my side all day long, because they use wisdom and restraint when it's necessary. And that's all I'm saying. I use wisdom and restraint, and I surround myself with those kind of people that do that. So to answer your initial question, are they good people and they show restraint and they down for it? Yes. I pass the mic.
I thought
Are
you
they
said,
dangerous, Asia? Yes or no?
I thought you said no initially. When we were, I thought you said you don't agree initially.
With which part?
Is a good man dangerous? Yes or no?
Good man, a dangerous man. You initially had shook your head and said no, you don't agree.
And I said that because I would sometimes shake my head because I involuntarily shake my head sometimes. So
No,
did I say
you said I don't
afterwards?
agree. You said I don't agree, but we went ahead and continued. So I was waiting for your answer in regards to you not agreeing. That's
Yeah,
what
I
I
got
was.
interrupted 5,000 times. I probably forgot my train of thought. I passed the mic.
Asia, question. If you were going to do like a challenge or something, right? And you have a man who's capable, you have a woman who's capable, right? But we have different strength levels, you know what I mean? Different physical abilities, attributes. Athleticism leans towards men, right? Thinking could go either way. Are you saying athleticism doesn't lean towards men? Athletically?
I mean that thing. So they use a challenge. What kind of challenge?
Yeah,
I
so
didn't
you don't
understand.
know what the challenge is.
Right.
You just know that it could be physical, it could be mental. The man with you or the woman with you?
Well, it depends, because because I see dismissive. I see being dismissed, but it does depend. I don't get now. By now I don't just get black and white, because the world is full of shades of gray. There is no black and white. And so it depends on the challenge, because if there is a challenge of having to be nimble and flexible, the woman most likely will succeed in that because she's more nimble and flexible. The man sometimes have too much girth and can't be flexible. If we need to get into a smaller place, you can't get in that smaller place because you're too big. And we got to get out this door. We got to get out this room.
I said you don't know what the challenge is, though.
Yeah. Can I take both? I'm being serious. Can I take both?
No. Oh my God.
You
can't take both.
I'm gonna take the female. Who is athletically proud, has athletic prowess, who has intellectual acumen and business. I would take the female. I would. All things standard, all things constant. I would take the female.
There's
for
such
a myriad of reasons.
I'm just gonna tell you that's a disingenuous answer.
Now I'm shaking my head no, Marion. This is why I do not agree, Marion. You're right. I'm shaking my head no on that, because that's crazy.
Wait, so let me ask you this, Asia. Let me ask you this, Asia, because we had this topic a few weeks ago when we asked, like, who do you prefer to work with? And most of the women up there said they prefer to even work with men, like in the workplace. So do you prefer to work with men or women?
I want to know first from a woman why she said that. Mary, did you say that? Or are you the one that said yeah to that?
I'm the one that said I don't prefer to work with women.
Yeah, you prefer to work with a man?
You say yes to it, yeah. She said yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why did I don't want to know the answer. I mean, I might agree with it. But what was the response, or what was the reason for that?
I know Isha said it too.
Oh, I don't deal with emotional people well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very outforward person. So in regards to women making emotional decisions, I don't be with that shit. I'm not an emotional person. So the whole, community of women that are overly emotional and can't focus and make the right decision based off of a business, I don't be with that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't do well with emotional people either. I really don't.
Right.
And go ahead, Adrian.
So I was asking because based off of that premises, if you go back to Hamp's question, if you don't know the task, right, who would you rather have? Both like equal skill wise. That's why I think it should be a man. That's why the answer is a man, because that control piece for one with the no. Well, that's cool. We
No,
know.
so let me say the reason why I don't even know what the challenge is. So if you're causing me to
Right.
say
So hold on.
left
But
or
if you
right,
don't
I'm
know
gonna
the
go with
challenge,
the woman.
if you
That's
don't
the
know the
point.
challenge, that's just like saying think of every single challenge imaginable of what it could possibly be. More often than not, it's better to be paired with a man than a woman, because mentally we can both be there, but physically the man automatically dominates. There's no field in which a woman dominates over a man. You see what I'm saying? So since there's nothing that a woman dominates over a man, why would you take a woman? Especially if you're going into the unknown. I'm gonna take the one that has greater strengths.
But you automatically assume the man has greater strength than the woman that's in the company of what we're talking about. And so
But
again, my answer is
that's
my
what Hemp
answer.
said. Hemp said they're
It's
both
crazy
smart.
how it's crazy how y'all think that my answer being choosing a woman just off the break because you're making me choose one or the other is disingenuous when I really honestly believe that, because I don't even know the challenge is. But I believe in the strength of a woman, the tenacity of a woman. I don't believe women are overly emotional. I think men are emotional too. And if people crack my teeth and say men aren't emotional. Yes, you are. I'm saying you because you guys are men. You are emotional. Your emotions usually are anger, frustration, and that's it. Like y'all, very rarely do you show any other emotion, but you are super emotional beings. You
I
are.
agree, and I
can't
feel as
say
though
both.
when men are frustrated, upset, mad, and all that, they don't move too well in that
They don't
space.
think straight.
They don't navigate situations too well in that space, and it don't take them long to get there. I'm just saying.
Mhm. I agree.
You actually be surprised how long it takes to get there and what builds up. But generally speaking, are more when in situations like business, military, things of that nature. Like that's proven. Can people go off the rails? Of course. But generally speaking, we have a level up from women in that regard. You're saying you guys don't.
What war was started by a female? What war was started because a female made a decision?
But we also
Tell me.
didn't have the ability.
Where's the background little sound for that, Hemp? That where did that go? You don't get one?
But also,
For
we
what?
didn't have the ability
What the fuck
be
did
able
she
to
say?
work
Do
because
it.
What's
we're not
the premise of that though?
we're not in those
But my
positions
question,
to be able to make that decision.
So then
But
we did never. Then is the answer.
but the thing is, what does
But it's
deciding
not
to go
because
into
we
war? That's not an
don't want to.
emotional decision, though. So y'all think men decide to go into war just based off of straight emotion, like irrationally? We gonna go to war?
it typically is
That's the
egos
thought
involved.
out process for the most part.
Typically egos involved and show of force is involved, right? Instead of it being very rarely is diplomacy exhibited by men when wars get started, right? And that's why they get started, because diplomacy gets taken to the back seat as opposed to whose stick is bigger. That's how men make those decisions on whether we're going to go to war or not, right? A woman is very strategic, and we are emotional beings, yes, but we don't make emotional decisions like that without thinking of everything and being very strategic, and we're diplomatic as well.
I don't think
You
that's just
never
a
been
good
in
question
charge.
in general to be able to ask, because we're never in that position to be able to see if that happens or not, because we're not in those positions to be able to start war. So it's not even a good question to kind of ask or impose out there, because we've never been in the position to really see what women are going to be able to do.
But we are in a position to see who gets more emotional at work, because we all seen that. So who's typically that person that when they're frustrated at work, they're going off on somebody or cursing somebody out? Who's that one? Men or women?
So can I tell you, and this is real life, no cap, I'm so serious. I have had men go off on me in work way more than women have at work. And I'm so serious. Men have gotten overly emotional They've gotten in my face. They've sat there and raised their voices, because when they feel that they aren't getting what they want, they just like, and they literally just bug out. I've seen it in my own.
Asia, don't no man want a woman telling them what to do. That's why they bugging out on you.
but they were usually over me though. Like the men that went off like that, they were over me. They were.
Yeah, because they trying to keep you in your place. That's why you acting out.
I don't need to be kept in my place. Are you crazy? I don't
Yo,
need to be kept in my place.
You just said they over you, so they trying to keep you in your place.
No. I keep myself in my place.
By acting out emotionally?
Nah, they keep you in your place because they over you. You said that.
No, meaning they were the manager. No. They were the manager.
Yeah, you said they over you.
So they had a supervising position, and what you're saying is that if she stepped out of line, the way to get her back in line is for them to be emotional and irate.
Adrian, call
Is that
Isha.
how that works?
Yo.
You said call Isha?
If you falling on a line at work and I'm your manager, I'm gonna put you back in line or by any means necessary. Your ass terminated.
No, it's impossible. So let me tell you the situation.
How is that impossible? You just said I'm over you. If you fall out of line, I'm gonna put you back in line or you up out of here.
No. So when he got upset, we were both in places of authority. He was there longer than he had seniority over me. He was over me, right? He didn't like the fact that I made a decision that was outside of him. This is my team that I have the authority over. He didn't like how I made the decision that was over my
over the whole team, including your team. That's what you said, Asia. You said he was in
supervisory role over me, but the way the dotted line was, I made the final decision. I made the final decision. I didn't agree with him.
How you make your own decisions if he over you?
Because it was my team that I was giving the decision for.
It's your team. He gave you your team. So he over you.
He didn't give me. No, it's very clear, Bub. He did not give me my team. He did not. If truth was to be told, I moved him out the place.
Can he get you fired? Yes or no?
No.
He can't get you fired.
No, he could not get you fired.
He can't get you fired.
Yeah.
Question though, Asia. Was he your manager? Was he your manager?
Say it one more time.
Was he your were you one of his direct reports?
No. I was not.
But he was a manager.
He didn't sign my timesheet. He didn't sign my timesheet. I didn't call him if I was going to not be in the office, but was he there longer than me? Yes. Was he in a higher position than me? Yes.
Okay. But you weren't a direct. You weren't a direct report of his, though.
Correct. But he had seniority over me. He had the role before I got there, and he got moved out the way. And so they moved him into basically a figurehead role. But on paper, he was over me. He had no authority over me. He really didn't.
Okay, so why you didn't boss back up and put him in his place then?
I did.
You did?
You think I didn't? I did.
I'm asking.
I absolutely did. He got upset, when he did his little queening out, he queened out, and we were in the room by ourselves. And I thought, because he thought I was gonna be scared of him because he's taller than me, he went like this, and I had to sit there and boss up like, who? I said, who are you talking to? I'm looking down at talking to you, but I looked at him like, I said, who are you talking to? I said, you don't talk to me like that. I said, you're acting really emotional right now. So I put him back in his place, right?
And that's the circle around, because I think what we were talking about was who's more emotional. So if the only way that you can get your employees in line is to be irate and emotional as the man in charge, that's a problem.
Hold on. I gotta
That's only one side of the story, though. That's Asia's side of the story.
But hold on, though, because
Asia could be ODing because she was emotional.
She was speaking that he had to act that way to get her in line, because it's either get her in line or fire her as a supervisor. And what I'm saying is that as a professional or as a man, you should be able to navigate situations in a calm, composed manner. If you're a man and you're not so emotional and your emotions don't take over and drive your reaction all the time, you should be able to respond. You don't have to react, right? Because you're a man.
Hey, you know what, Jazz? Peep game, right? I'm not a manager, right? But if I was, I'm gonna tell you something 1.5 times. If you don't fall in line, you up out of here. I'm only speaking 1.5 times.
Man, good. You're not a good leader. Then leaders don't.
If you don't fall, if you don't fall in line, you up out of here. I ain't gonna go back and forth with you. If you don't fall in line,
you're not in a leadership position, right?
I just said that.
Okay.
You can tell Jack, right? You can tell he's not, right?
Right. I'm not
Hold up, though.
Just making sure I heard you right.
Wait. Hold up, y'all. Because I'm definitely an authoritative figure at my spot. What I say go for 8 or 16 hours, however many hours I'm there, what I say go, trust and believe me. All right, so let's just get that out of the way. But I'm not a manager though. But what I say go, or it's gonna be some consequences.
Why do y'all rule with fear? You don't have to rule. Trust me. You don't have to rule with fear though. The sign of a good manager is not ruling with fear.
I don't. I rule with common sense.
No.
Common sense.
And if you got 1.5 times, you're out of here. That's fear. You're ruling with fear.
If you're not projecting common sense, I can't trust you. I gotta move your ass out the way. Next.
Who said it's not common sense?
Let me talk to you. If you're not moving with common sense,
once or twice you're out of here. You really supposed to have some type of form of being able to say, hey, this is what I've done to be able to improve you and to be able to help you to get you to where you are. And that's what a good leader or manager does. Not to say you didn't do what I say 1 or 2 times.
I'm not a manager though, Sharp.
I know you're talking as if you are. And I'm telling you, if you say if I am, then these are the things that you should be thinking versus the things that you are thinking right now and saying.
My position is to take control and charge of the situation. If I can't do that, I'm not doing my job. That's why I said what I say go. And if you're not doing what I say, I'm gonna move you to the side. Let me speak to the next person because I'm done with you.
And you wouldn't be considered a good leader.
I feel like it depends because
Hold on though. I don't want to toot my own horn either. But I've been told on a daily basis that I'm a very good leader. And I'm not even a manager. I get patted on the back every day, but I don't say nothing because I'm the same person every day. I don't need that type of recognition. It's not going to build me up. It's not going to make me change. I'm going to come in the same person every day. Y'all going to get the same bub every day. So when I come in the following day, you know what to expect. Right? That's how it should be, right? Yeah. So like I was saying, let's get back to Asia. If you're not listening, if you don't fall in line, you got to go. You up out of here. I'm only talking to you 1.5 times.
We wouldn't work well together because you don't talk. I would never allow anybody to talk to me like that. Ever.
Hey.
Ever.
Hey.
And
that's where I feel like it depends on the situation as well, because I've been a manager, I've been a supervisor, I've been a team lead. You know what I'm saying? And I've also been moved up in companies in little time in corporate. So me being, a manager or a supervisor, sometimes I've had to tell people maybe that second time that this might not be the job for you and have them conversations with people like, hey, like, are you sure this is the path you want to take? Because you're doing something so critical right now that's going to put me at risk that I'm not going to let that happen. So would I take 1 or 2 times? Absolutely. I'm only going to give you 2 times.
Exactly.
And I have been there. I've been in corporate. I did corporate banking for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? So with me having to have them conversations with people, maybe that second time I'm having that conversation like, hey, you made this same mistake twice. This is a critical mistake. You can't do this. Is this the job for you?
Not to cut you off there, but if you could potentially kill yourself and your coworkers, I'm only talking to you 1.5 times. You're
We
not
weren't talking
getting
about that,
multiple
though. We weren't
chances.
even going to that extreme, and that definitely was not my
But
story.
And that makes
That's common sense. That's common sense, though. That's common sense. Don't
And that's
run
exactly what I said. Common sense. That's exactly what I
but
said.
why talk common sense, though? Of course, if you can't sit there and say don't run out in traffic more than once because they get hit, they're gonna die. Come on now, like we don't have to
that's
talk.
what y'all was saying, that he can't say he wouldn't be a good manager if he didn't let somebody slide more than twice. Sometimes there is people that you can't let
my
slide.
lens, though. I was going from my lens. I wasn't talking about military. If you're in the military, of course you have to listen. We weren't talking about. I'm not from a military mind. I'm talking about my lens.
I'm not. I've never been in the military.
When that guy cleaned out on me, it was not mission critical to people's well-being, right? The guys that went off on me, we weren't doing anything critical to people's livelihoods or people's lives. My point was, when I was in corporate America, I have had men queen out on me more than women, was my point. And so I'm giving you my experience and saying that was my experience. Y'all went to the left talking about mission critical. If you can't tell nobody more than once because they'll sit there and die.
Well, I think everybody dismissed him saying 1.5 times. So then you would agree that certain jobs you don't get that much rope, right?
Absolutely, we agree with that. I agree with that.
So
but
if he's speaking from his lens, we can't dismiss it as though he's not a good leader. Because if he does a job where it's dangerous and people can die, if he does a job that's dangerous and people can die, for him to say 1.5 times, that's more than enough, right? Then you would agree.
Yes, but I agree with Asia that if we're talking about Asia and Asia's point of view and how
we weren't, we were talking about Bub.
Well,
Bub was giving
talking about Asia's point of view. It's not, so we can't just say now I'm going to change it into my point of view when we're talking about Asia.
You're wrong. You're wrong because we said Bub's not a good leader.
When it comes to if he's in the position where Asia's in, that wouldn't be a good leader.
There was no particular context.
The subject is about Asia, so why would we put ourselves?
He was talking about how he would lead a group if he was in charge, and then when he said that, somebody said, "Oh, you wouldn't be a good leader because you need to give opportunities." Right, but if he has a lens in which his job is dangerous, then we're saying his 1.5 times is justified.
Correct, but we're talking about Asia's situation.
You know what didn't happen? He didn't ask the nature of my job, and that's a part of the problem. Now men don't listen.
Hold on, hold on, Asia. You ain't asked the nature of my job either. You assumed that I was in the military.
No. I said military situations. As you're talking from a military stance, so I said military situation.
Come on.
See, I was talking from a corporate point, though. I had more feisty women where they feel like I'm going to take their job or I'm going to take their place, where they try to do little tedious shit to try to get me out of job. You get what I'm saying? And like I said, I've been in lead positions in corporate, in banking, you know what I'm saying, where people like, oh, why she got that position? Why she this? Why she that? Why she this? Why she that? I get that from females. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times as well, in those situations, females are the majority that are in the workplace. It is mostly females. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's been more males that have actually showed me, like, you know, the congratulations and things like that. Me as a female, I've had to snap on some of my, you know, people that were under me and people that I was, you know, training and things like that. Because, you know, as women, they looking at me like we the same person. Like, we not. I'm still your boss. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm still running show here. You know, but females give me the most catty action in regards to something that I'm trying to teach you. Like, listen, I'm trying to teach you that, but because we may be the same age, and you know what I'm saying, you just looking at me because we the same age, same race, and everything. You think I'm gonna cut you some slack? I'm not.
Exactly, Mary.
Me going through it with guys, they know I'm not playing. I'm not playing with you. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we about to do. And they have understood it, and they have reciprocated, you know, my energy that I give more, because they already know what's up. With females, they trying to have a conversation, trying to do the back and forth, trying to do all that. No, that's not what we about to do right now. Like, just because I'm a woman too, and I'm a black woman too, just like you think that I'm gonna cut you some slack. I'm not.
Mary, don't convolute your point by saying the same shit over and over. Let the point stand, because you made your point. I know you. I know you're gonna say it again.
I agree with Mary, though. I actually do agree. I think that sometimes women in certain positions, when you're superior and things of that nature, feel that they can do whatever. I think they become insecure. And unfortunately, that becomes a trickle-down effect of how you lead. And I think for me, I've unfortunately haven't had a male. So each time I get someone new, I cross my fingers to see like, how are they going to react? How are they going to act? How do I have to, in response, to let them know, yeah, you might be my supervisor, but I'm not just going to do whatever you tell me to do just because you're my supervisor. I know what my job is and I know what my what I'm supposed to be doing, but you're not going to come at me any way you want to come at me just because you're in that position. And I think that's the cattiness happens and retaliation. I feel that happens with women more than men.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, go ahead, Adrian. I just want to point out that Asia's calling it queening out. There's an irony there, right? But go ahead, Adrian.
So Asia, you're saying that it's mostly men who operate out of their emotions. Mary is saying women. Shanice, are you saying it's mostly women, but it's because you've only worked with all women? Like, have you ever worked with men, whether co-workers, things like that?
Co-workers, yes, but not in like a manager.
Right. But just with co-workers, right? So people on your level, do you see that men typically act more emotional than women just as co-workers?
I don't know if I paid as much attention like as co-workers what other people do in general. Like
So if you had to pick one that you would say, hey, this person is a little more emotional, or
it would be women. Yeah, I would just say women.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be women.
That's 2-1. What about you, Jazz? Because you seem like
I have had the experience of having both male and female supervisors, and both were disappointments. Okay.
Oh, come on, man.
I initially, I'm not gonna lie. I was working with and I thought myself,
nah, man. I don't accept answers like that, Jasmine.
But okay, that's fine. You don't accept it, but my reality is that
I do this all day.
They both have been emotional.
They can't hear a word you're saying. I know how loud this is. Now, if you're gonna answer,
man, they were worse. That was a disappointment. They were worse than the females. Golly,
we all know you lying. So
yeah. Go ahead, Adrian. Continue.
And then I wanted Isha to get in there to share her experience.
My current supervisor is a male, and his main priority is the job and how it gets done. And I work in social services, so that's a woman-led field. Most women lead that field, and I've seen women supervisors do some catty stuff. And I've seen someone just off the strength of not liking someone go through like hell to get them fired, and then try to block them from getting unemployment. So definitely, women are more catty, very emotional. And I definitely prefer a male supervisor.
And so supervisor, co-worker, because remember back to the original question that Hamp had asked Asia, if you don't know the task at hand, and so you're randomly going to have to choose either a man or a woman, they're both equally competent, right? So they're both smart, both quick thinkers on their feet. Which one are you going to take? Most women prefer to work with men based off of the answers that were given here, but then men are physically stronger. So that gives a man automatically one up on a woman, especially if you're going into something that you don't even know what it is. So just by chance, right? Like the chance of you being more successful would be more than likely with the man. That's why Hamp is like, yo, that's disingenuous, because you're making a decision and it's not even based off of like facts. Like there's no reason. So what is the reason? The reason for you to pick a woman is because you said it could require something nimble. The majority of the things that you possibly would be asked to do doesn't require somebody to be nimble. There's a million things that could possibly be done
give you more
that require you to be nimble or small.
That was just one example. I can give you 1,000 others. That was just one, so I want to move the conversation along. But Isha, I would like to clarify. I said I would pick a woman. I just want to make that clear that I said that. I would pick a woman. If I don't know what the challenge is and I was forced to pick one, so I can't take both, I would choose a woman off the rip.
All right,
and
so
oh my goodness.
Let me get one more question for you, Asia. So you said in case it was nimble, what was your other reasoning for picking a woman?
Strategic, diplomacy.
So you think women are more strategic than men? What else?
Tenacity.
Let me get my pen, man.
Get it.
Oh my goodness.
Get it.
They're more what? You said tenacity?
Yes, the tenacity, whichever form you want to use.
Sound like you're describing a man over there. Okay.
A woman.
Those are more masculine traits. Those are not masculine traits.
A woman. Well, that's what I got. So call me what you want. I think I talk masculine energy sometimes. But tenacity, strategy, diplomacy. Those are in addition to being nimble, just in case we gotta get a quick situation, we can run really fast, and we gotta do that.
What are you talking
about? Y'all are not faster than us, then, though.
Y'all slow as hell.
Y'all are really. Let me repeat that dumb statement. Y'all are slow as hell.
You
really.
are.
So
compared to
the question is, a good man is a dangerous man. So back to the question. I just want to give my opinion on this since we kind of went.
No. Hold on, Mary.
Listen,
hold on. Fuck that question.
What?
I was about to say we've been off of that question.
So
that's a problem. That is a problem.
This is the Asia segment. All right, Asia, answer this. Guess it is, nigga. You made it. So I'm gonna tell you what. I'm coming to your house. I'm taking all the tequila out your house. That's for goddamn sure.
You know he about to chop this up so good.
Look, no more. All right, Asia, answer this question.
I don't know what the fuck a male is.
Male. Mike Brown said, would you prefer a female military or a male military? All female, all male.
Was that your question or his? I thought you had a question.
That's his.
No. This is the question.
Oh, you want me? Oh, you want me to answer that one? Okay. Yeah. I'll go back. Female.
What?
Are you crazy? I will not feel safe.
Yo, next question. Next question.
You would not feel female military.
Listen. I don't go anywhere. Listen. I am a bulldog.
You said what you said.
I am a bulldog. I will beat somebody the fuck up. But I'll go anywhere with my husband because I know that he got me. Like, he gonna protect me. Like, he's a man. He is a man.
Said I knew it.
I'm not standing by myself.
I can't trust anybody. 28 days, a whole military. Everybody's cycles are different.
You telling me a whole military of women? No.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Like, it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Shout out to Mike Brown, man.
I need the men's.
Yo, peace, Mike. Peace, Mike.
Yeah, word is born, Mike. Hey, Asia, that sounds crazy though. Absolutely. You know that, right?
When you have someone talk in absolutes and very black and white, it will always sound crazy. And I say this repeatedly every single time I'm on this show. You force people into corners to sit there and answer black or white. You force them to. Yeah. If I was to really give a real answer, if you make me sit there and say black or white, I'm gonna say black or white. So my black or white is female military. So
what would your answer be?
There's shades of gray. I would like a mixed military. I would like me female and male.
I don't want no. If it was up to me, no woman would be in the military. Oh yeah, no. If it was up to me, no women would be allowed in the military. That's not what we built for. It is not it. Don't get me wrong. Like me, I'm a fighting motherfucker. I will tell you that straight up and down. But listen, if I ain't got to do it, I don't want to do it.
But
I
that's
will leave that up to the men.
They do it. Some women want to fight.
I feel like women are built for the brains. Men are built for the muscle.
We
like
need brains in the military, Mary.
I get it. I get it. I'm not saying they don't have it. But if it was up to me in the military, it's a form of defense. So physically, you're defending me. I don't want a bunch of pussies defending me.
That's not what you just said there. You said
it's not gonna work.
You don't want male and female. I really would prefer male and female.
It's cool.
Really
we're talking about black and white.
Black or white.
We're talking about black and white. If the military would be
no. Come eat, Mary. You hungry? Come eat.
Just wouldn't.
Wait, hold on. I got a question. Hold on. I got a question for you, Asia. So what about just for infantry, right? So just for the people who go on to fight. They gonna land, they going to fight, they going to kill. Would you want that to be all men or women and men too? Just that piece. We're not talking about the higher ups. We're not talking about the strategy. The people who we giving guns and we saying go over there and kill somebody.
Is black or white again, or I can do the mix?
No, would you prefer that to be mixed too?
Oh, okay, I can get that answer. I'm like, you making me pick a side.
No, I just want to know how you prefer that one.
Yeah, for infantry. So for infantry, those with the guns going in there, they're disposable. Yeah, it can be male. It can be all male.
Because we disposable. I'm done.
I'm telling you, it's just I feel like when it comes to the muscle, men handle things physically. Listen, I don't know what type of men you be around. Everybody be around different men. The men I be around can handle themselves very well. My husband could pull an AR out of his pocket and not miss. Like that's what I'm sticking with. Like that's what I'm sticking with. Like there's no gray area for that for me. Like, okay, cool, yeah, have it mixed, yeah, sure, whatever. But when you look at it, bottom line, the people that run the military, they're men. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them are smart. They're not all stupid. So some of them are smart. Do I believe women do have more brain power? Absolutely. But when it comes to that muscle and when it comes to somebody protecting me, I'm going to look for another nigga, not another female. Because if it comes to that, I can protect myself. If I'm looking for another female.
Hold on, I got a question. What do you mean by women have more brain power, though? We done question Asia. Asia, you stay over there, Asia. We done with you.
Like
what is this brain power stuff?
Y'all are stronger, we're smarter.
I feel like women know how to fully think things
through. Knock it off.
Yes, I do feel like
yeah, what that meant. I was trying to simplify it for them.
Women,
you guys are stronger.
One at a time.
Smarter, mental.
Women can put more detail together. Men are, like I mentioned before on the podcast, men are one-track minded. I feel like women can organize and put more detail together than men can. That's why we have to have one another. That's why there has to be both. You get what I'm saying? Because I feel like women can construct things a whole lot better than men can. Men see a point A and a point B. That's it. Women can organize and detail everything that's in
internet. We constructed this whole world.
You wouldn't be able to prove that is the point, right? Based on engineering, construction, the jobs that men do that women don't do for whatever the reasons are. Women aren't going to these fields where things are actually being put together and built and constructed. So that what you said, possibly, but women don't do those jobs, so we can't prove it. Right? Like if men disappeared like the Infinity Stone shit, we run all the infrastructure. Women don't work in infrastructure. Like the shit plant down on 295 is 89% men. Right? So women don't do these things that you're saying in terms of A to B and constructing and building. Like men created the tampon. Women walking around bleeding all over the place. None of y'all decided to plug yourself up. So a man came and built the tampon originally for his wife, and then it expanded, and then he actually sold it to a woman, and then she grew the tampon industry. Right, but he constructed it first. Because we thinking, okay, they can't, because you guys couldn't work because you got 7 days out of a month where you guys you were unclean, you had to stay in the house, shit like that, right? So he created it for his wife and then expanded. A man did that.
Do you really feel that she had no say so in that? honestly, it was a patriarch. No, it was a super duper patriarch back then. You trying to tell
we only know what we know, Asia.
But let's use common, as Bub's favorite word is tonight. Common sense is going to be the theme for tonight. Common sense. You really trying to sit there and tell me that man did it all by himself and creating this tampon, this maxi pad without exclusive of his wife? That sounds crazy. I need you to hit
He
that.
probably asked her, so how many days do you reign for? She's like, sometimes it's 6, maybe 7, then it's heavy, then it's light. She's like, okay, let me figure this out. Thanks, babe.
Him. You
That's
really
all.
believe that they didn't have a conversation in the kitchen or in the bedroom about what it should feel like? I need to make sure it does this, honey. I need to make sure you do that because she wouldn't have got that back then. She
He asked some clarifying questions. Yeah, he asked some clarifying questions, but he built it. Again, we're talking about what Mary said. Don't call the Lord, he ain't coming. What we talking about is what Mary said, though. You know what I mean? Because she was saying women can think in these, but everything built, including the internet.
Right. And she's saying back in that time, you don't think that there's a whole bunch of ideas that got put out into the world by a man, but there's a woman behind it.
Hell no.
Because she wasn't allowed to do that path.
Hell
You
no.
think that? Okay.
Hell no.
Okay.
How y'all know that though?
So Jazz,
Dumb
I
as hell.
see. So common sense was not going to reign tonight. Common sense will not.
Albert
reign.
Einstein wasn't married. Like, what are y'all talking about? Prove these things you saying. You can't.
You know. So let me ask you this. Let me ask the men this question: do you believe that we live in a patriarchal society? Do you believe that?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't benefit from it.
Okay, the answer was yes. Now let's move on to the second question. Second question is, do you believe that 100 years ago, before women were allowed to vote, that even after that, women were not allowed to have certain rights and privileges, including patents, trademarks, inventions? They were not allowed to have their names on that. So they had to put the man in the front to be the front runner of it, or wouldn't have gotten passed. And a lot of things that we have now would not have been invented or allowed to come to fruition because a woman had done it. Do you believe that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
Even
now,
the
reason is because y'all not doing the shit now. See, I can see if you had you got rights now, but y'all ain't building a fucking thing. So why now that y'all got the opportunity is not happening? See, I would agree if I saw women. Wait, I would agree if I saw women creating shit, but that's not the case. So why aren't y'all doing it now?
Who says we're not?
I thought they vegan.
What did he say about vegan?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Hold on. Let Jazz. Go ahead, Jazz. Say something. They can't hear you nodding. Go ahead. Say
I think
something.
you're real funny. I think.
Well, I mean, what have y'all created? Name something.
I think that I'll say this. I believe that behind every great man is a what?
Oh, you're right. Mute your mic. It just sounds stupid.
No. Y'all know how the rest of that statement goes.
A good woman.
An even greater woman, right? So my thing is this. I do believe that many of things that have been invented back when there were things that really needed to be invented, because now we inventing what? I don't know, TikToks. Anyway. But my thing is that the man had to be the person to put it out there. So if you honestly think that there's no way in the world that any inventions that have been founded by a man don't have a woman behind it, I think that's very naive on your part. But if that's what you want to believe, that's what you want to believe.
Who are you talking to?
You in particular. Yeah, you. Him.
Well, what I'm asking is
there's no way because nobody ever invents anybody but men.
Well, what I'm asking is why haven't you niggas created anything now? See, that's the part. But Adrian, am I bugging? Like, why the fuck y'all got all the rights now?
Can I please give you an example? I know for a fact.
Go ahead, Adrian.
I know for a fact women are creating now. They are. There are women business inventors every single day that are cropping up. I'll give an example right now. There's this woman right now who is able to reconfigure and recycle biohazard materials into practical everyday things that we can use in the household. There's a woman inventor that invented she actually invented like a little my words are escaping me, like a doll, like for a better word, a doll for little children that are in like St. Jude's. a doll, a DOLL, a doll, right? A doll. And she invented it because little kids that need transplants, like heart transplants, kidney transplants, she's inventing that doll in the shape of that organ for children. There are inventors that are females every day that are cropping up that every day people are using. Just because you don't see it, because you choose to be blind, does not mean it's not happening. I can send you literally a list right now of different female inventors that are putting things into the market right now. But what
Shout
they
them
have
out,
is
Adrian.
funding.
Shout them out.
I just did too. The other one, I'm gonna
Please
put.
give us their name.
The overarching point is, yes, there are women inventors. Even a show on Hulu, about, it was like blood reading. I forget what she created.
Theranos, yeah.
Right. So there's women that create things, sure, right? But we're just saying all the new things that, like, just take the big ones, right? You take Apple, you take Microsoft, you take Amazon. Like, those are men. That's all I'm saying. That if you guys were being held back so much when you didn't have rights, we didn't see an influx of inventions coming from women with the rights. So if you're saying that that's not logical, then I think that your response would be disingenuous to that statement.
Can I add on to that? And I agree with you. So yes, Apple, Microsoft were started by men. Like, they were started by Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, right? Do you believe that the second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, and on iterations have been facilitated and or assisted by women? Do you believe that women have actually helped them get to that next phase? Thank you, Adrian, for being honest. So can those women... Thank you, Ham, for being honest. I appreciate that. Ham and Adrian are honest. I appreciate that.
Yeah, don't try to leave me out.
Yeah, don't leave Bub
I
out.
ain't see you shake your head, Bub.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
Go ahead, Amy.
So what I'm saying is, we would still be stuck at a plateau if the woman that assisted them to come along to get that second generation, third, fourth, and on iteration or generation of that invention. So yeah, we may not have done the initial prototype or the initial, first one, but we were there when it got improved upon. So we added the additional parts to go with it.
No, you were part of a team that added additional parts.
Of women.
And can't nobody come to work on the 30th day of August. How the fuck you gonna have all women?
Why can't we come to work? We can bleed at work. I can bleed at work.
Some of the ladies that work for me, oh, you know what time it is? We still gotta unload this truck. The fuck, I can't. You're like, come on, bro. I'm still.
Put him in the fucking bed. Get him out of here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Interesting. Isha, what up though? I didn't even say hi.
Hey.
With the bang. Got the bang.
Listen, Isha threw down today, y'all.
Word.
I seen them play.
And I was in a car accident, so my back hurt too.
Oh.
Wow.
Word.
You better get
that money, man.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah, I told her she could have shitted herself, yo.
You got to be hanging out the front seat when the cops come. Like,
I was scared. You don't think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, Asia refused to answer the question that's scrolling. Mm-hmm. I don't even know why it's still scrolling at this point.
I was watching though. I was watching.
Oh, you heard the bullshit. I mean, you heard what she said. And then somehow I think her and Jazz are texting because they were on one accord. And I've been seeing the top of Jasmine's forehead for a lot. She about to get kicked off.
No, that's illogical. Illogical.
Jazz is like she over it. Jazz like, all right, Hemp, I'm done with you. Ain't nobody going back and forth with you. Don't worry, y'all.
Don't nobody be with Hemp shit, boy.
I knew he was going to start his shit as soon as he told me to come do this. I knew it.
Hey,
shut up.
Hey, Jazz been in the bathroom since she got on.
Yo, I ain't never hear nobody get the bathroom that much.
That shit like,
and then turn around and want me to talk. for the next question. But really don't want me to talk. So I mean, I just be quiet and drink this wine and be great.
Damn, that was funny. All right, hold on. All right. Listen, man, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. All right, let me go to this next topic. Hold on, let me share my screen.
I can't even get my eyes over this shit.
All right. Damn, man.
We did one question for an hour, yo, with the
Oh,
same
it's
pressure
drinking my
stroke.
bro. She had to say it's annoying, man.
This shit went, we only got one answer for that question. I don't even know if that was the answer for that question. Like,
Mary, you tried to. What?
He said, "Will you watching old school SWV videos today?"
Why? Because my bang.
your bang popping, Isha. Don't let him nothing different. He hating.
Yo, I ain't hating.
All right, take a peek.
God, I don't even like this lady. I watch
it's a
her
very
before.
small
I love
percentage of
her.
men.
Hold on, let it load up.
But the majority of men are good men. It's a very small percentage of men that are sleeping with all the women. Like it's a very if you want a guy that's over 6 foot, that's 15% of men. You want him to be cute, cut that in half. You want him to make money, cut that in half. It's a very small percentage of men that are sleeping with all the girls. Like every girl has a guy in their friend zone that would treat them well, and they know would treat them well, and they know likes them. And it's like we don't pick them. And then we're gonna cry because the guy we picked is bad to us. But you could have picked the guy in the friend zone. But
All right. I like this view. I like this view better. You guys heard the video? Was it clear?
Yes.
So again, I'm sure somebody gonna spin the question, but fine. Are women choosing wisely? Because
no.
If the
Oh,
statistics,
my bad. He wasn't done with the question. Sorry.
Damn it! Put that fucking MD 2020 down. God damn.
Not the MD.
And Bay, you allowing the shit. You steady smiling and shit. What the fuck is wrong with them? Do they have a delay? Yo, what the Yo, all right. So
What the
she
fuck
said,
this is, but
she said 15% of men are over 6 feet or over. She said cuteness, cut that in half. Money, you got to lower the percentage, so on and so forth. But women want this top 10%, 8% of men. And these 10% of men are the one having sex with all the women. And then women are ignoring the men that would probably treat them right, but they got them in the friend zone, or he don't fit these they dreamt about. So are women choosing wisely? Go ahead, Jazz. Go ahead, Jazz.
and again, I say no.
Why?
Don't sit back like you made a point. Expound on the point.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting because I didn't want you to start doing the damn sounds and shit and all of that. I ain't know if I could talk. So I'm just trying to make sure. Am I clear? Is it clear? Can I land? Is it clear day?
Yeah,
Can I
good.
land?
Go ahead. You good. Shiny ass forehead. You good. Go ahead.
Okay. So don't make something with my forehead. Anyway. All right. So I do agree with what she's saying as far as women friend zoning men that potentially could be, they're the one that's going to treat them exactly how they want to be treated. I do think that there are many women out there who gravitate towards the assholes. I do believe that. So yeah.
But how, when y'all so smart and so strategic and so all of these
Listen,
not when it comes to matters of the heart. Matters
right.
of the heart
Handling a business
stuff.
Handling a business and matters of the heart are two completely different things. You can choose to do what you want to choose. Like, if honestly speaking, from my perspective, if people look at the the people I got in relationships with versus the people I have cheated with, they're two completely different sets of people that would never correlate in the same, branch of people. So, the choosing wisely part, I feel like women tend to look at potential more versus what's in front of their face. I actually married my best friend. So someone that was just my friend starting. Now, if you would have looked at, people that I go into things with, with the idea of dating, that would be completely different than, my best friend. Like, I feel like women need to look at more so what's in front of them to be able to have that clear view of, choosing wisely. But a lot of that stuff gets ignored because you're looking at the potential of somebody. Like, potential will get you fired. Yeah. Like, that's just what it is. Potential will get you fired. But because us as women, we have such big hearts, trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And, you would be perfect if you just tweak a little of this and tweak a little of that. That's not reality. But, I just feel like, sometimes we can just be bad at choosing and kind of miss really what's there for us because of something else. Like, you would be the perfect man, but I'm not physically attracted to you.
So you accepting that L, Mary?
Listen, I didn't take an L. I married my best friend. That's my motherfucking dog.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't taking no L.
You're saying
you accepting that L on behalf of women.
You said what?
You're accepting that L on behalf of women because it's factual. Y'all do that stupid shit.
Yeah, definitely. But then again, it's like, it's not, I wouldn't necessarily call it the L because it's like, you could be the cream of the crop, but if I'm not physically attracted to you, I'm not going to see it.
And you know what's crazy?
Listen,
you said the same thing, Mary.
We wasn't even each other's types. We wasn't even each other's types.
You said it on the couples episode, that you was hating on the chicks he was dating.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't hating on the chicks that he was dating. I just was letting him know that it wasn't never gonna be for him because he wanted a person that I was from them other bitches because their asses was fat.
You was hating him. Women stay hating. Y'all stay hating.
Come on, man.
I don't be hating on nobody. Listen,
you was hating.
Are all beautiful to me, so I don't be hating. But if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
You married now, so we ain't gonna bring up your past, but you was hating.
I wasn't hating. He was.
All right, cool. Y'all both was hating then. Fuck it. Asia, what you think?
I think that relationships, unfortunately, a lot of relationships are formed by trauma bonds, is what I really believe. The trauma bonds are what make relationships doomed from the beginning. And that causes both sides not to choose wisely. I'm not going to flip it. I just want to put that part out there, but I'm wanting to say,
are you fucking serious?
I said I agree with Mary.
Let me look in this camera. Asia, let me explain something to you. You have to answer at least one question.
I just did. I agree with Mary.
Nah, but you snuck it in. I heard you. I'm looking at you. Are you looking at me?
Yes, sir. I am.
You snuck it in when you said both sides choose poorly. I heard you.
I said because through the trauma bonds. I said, however, I agree with Mary. Women, more often than not, don't choose wisely.
Okay.
But not even but. In addition to that, it's the trauma bonds that attract the man and the woman together. And so there's trauma bonds on both sides.
Okay. Thanks. Mute your mic, please. Isha.
Well, y'all know I'm single, so I got dating story for days. And I wouldn't even say it's not choosing wisely because I've had even like lower my standards in the looks area and still been disappointed, you know, or lower my standards in different areas and still been disappointed. So I don't know. It's just what's out there that this is women don't have too much to choose from.
We ignore too many red flags, right? Each because I'm single too. I'm single like a dollar bill. We ignore too many red flags.
We do.
You better stop ignoring Eddie then, Asia.
I did see that episode too. Mm-hmm.
Yo. Yo, the viewers ain't fucking with y'all answers, yo.
Listen, there's difference between the answers and the truth. That's what the truth is.
It's the truth. We do ignore red flags.
We should just say there's not that many dudes out here.
It's not.
There's a lot of dudes out there. There's a lot of fuck niggas out here. Yes, there's a lot of baby daddies out here. There's a lot of husbands out here. All I'm saying is there's not a lot of good pickings out there.
Right.
So you're saying you don't have anyone in the friend zone that you could technically that you're just not interested in. So there's somebody in the friend zone that like you. You're just not interested in them.
Mm-mm.
Maybe because they're not as attractive. Maybe because they're not the height you want them to be. Maybe because they're something.
Everyone that I have in
it wasn't up to par. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you ain't got nothing.
Everyone that I have in the friend zone is someone that I used to kick it with, and they fucked up. So they're in the friend zone, and they're gonna stay there.
So. Hey, you gonna stay there too? Trust me.
That's cool.
That's fine.
Men just be weird. Like men just be weird nowadays too, though. Like they just be weird. So women don't have a lot to choose from because men just be weird.
Nah, so let me tell y'all what it is, y'all. I'm gonna help y'all.
How we be weird?
Nah, I got you. I got
weird.
it. Listen,
Y'all be weird. It's because y'all be looking for the wrong things too. Y'all be missing it too.
Mary, I got it. All
right, go ahead.
Isha said something. She said I even lowered my standards, right? The problem is y'all have yourselves too high. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Hold on. Let me finish. Now land.
Can he finish?
All right, go ahead, land.
Let me land.
Like that.
Let me land.
Like that.
So when y'all saying, okay, let me lower my standards for this person, you already like they rope is already less. You know what I'm saying? Because you already feel like you lowering it. Versus if you put yourself down there and humble yourself a little bit, you know what I'm saying? You will realize, no, I'm average. I deserve an average man. I'm just keeping it funky with y'all.
Cousin, let me give you an example of lowering my standards. I met this guy, Christian guy.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that he was a minimalist. I said, well, what's a minimalist? He said he has like 5 pair of underwear, 5 t-shirts, 5 shirts. Like, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cringy, right? Mm-hmm. But I talked to him for a little while. That's like lowering my standards. Maybe that was the red flag that I ignored. Right?
The red flag when you said he was
5 not 7. He had 5 not 7.
That was the red flag.
Wait, what you say, Bob? Hold on.
Listen, there's 7.
Hold on.
Does that matter?
Nah, he living like he in jail. That's stupid as hell, nigga.
Nah, ain't nothing wrong with that, yo.
Hold on. Yeah,
he
that's
said you only flush the toilet once a week.
Yo,
stuff, huh? No.
5 underwear?
Child.
I can't unhear that.
Yo, wait,
I know it. That's not even all the days in the week. I thought.
And he had, and I try not to look at his clothes, and he had on like.
Yeah.
Listen, you didn't lower your standard. You kind of dropped the ball like completely. Like you just,
I rolled it.
Yeah,
like
you bugging.
I rolled it.
It don't be that bad.
Wait. Hold on. So, Bub, what'd you say the red flag was?
I said the initial red flag is when she said homie was a Christian.
I feel you.
Wait a minute, because Adrian, you're laughing a little bit too hard because I know you're a Christian.
Well, so you can kind of call me a Christian.
You should have let it go because you probably got more.
I'm a child of God who believe in my Bible, but I will accept the role of Christian too, but I'm not, you know what I mean? Because a lot of Christians don't follow the Bible. 2, a lot of people just say they're Christians, and if you say you're a Christian based off of following the Bible, and they don't, them the niggas who fucking a lot of women over. Because I was one of them at one point. You know what I'm saying too? That's why when he's saying that is a red flag, a man just saying he is a Christian, you got to watch what he does.
Exactly. Because
if I say I'm a doctor, that don't mean I'm a fucking doctor and automatically treat me like a doctor.
You act like that's the end all be all. As soon as you say you're a Christian,
No, but he was
like, oh, shit, okay. Oh.
No. Like he was really, I think he was really into going to church and not having a relationship though. But he went to church all the time.
Knock that off, yo.
Your red flag was when you realized you had more wigs than he had underwear. Ain't no way, boy.
That was it.
And you got more wigs than the nigga got underwear. That's a red flag.
Absolutely.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, but this is the thing. That's an easy fix. You know what I'm saying?
Then that's like changing somebody. You can't change.
He's a minimalist. He's not going to do that. He's going to take his extra spaghetti sauce and use it on the next meal. Like that's not it. I seen shows about this shit.
I know. That's what I'm saying. This guy cheap.
Niggas saving they boiled water for they boiled eggs the next morning. Like that's not it.
And they don't flush their toilet every time they use it. I've seen the show. I've seen it.
Yo, Isha, how long did you let homie hang around though?
Not too long.
Good.
What's not too long?
Did he get through all 5 pairs of his drawers?
Maybe like a couple of weeks. That was it.
A couple of weeks is too long. That's why women are not choosing wisely. They're not. Because listen, as soon as he say he's a minimalist and you know that you're not a minimalist, listen, it's over. It's over because we're not gonna be arguing about why I'm taking a 30-minute shower and I'm taking a 5-minute shower. We're not about to do that. So you should have been cut him up. That's a prime example of women not choosing wisely.
Right.
That was not it. A couple weeks is too long.
I do think that just because someone's a minimalist doesn't mean that you can't talk to them. But that sounds like an extreme minimalist that doesn't match. But that doesn't mean cut off all minimalists in the future, because then again, you end up in the section you are beforehand where you don't have anyone to be able to choose from because we're being too picky about everything.
But why do I gotta lower my standards because you can't?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, there's more women than there is men. So we have to be able to open up, and I think that's why we are single, because we're so nitpicky about the very little things when we really need to be focused on the bigger things to make sure those things align versus being very nitpicky when she's like, "Oh, is he 6'10"? Or I mean, how tall are you? Do you have kids or things of that nature?" Some of those things is the reason why we are still single, because we're so worried about the very little things.
But I feel like it also depends on what exactly you're being picky about. Like okay, maybe you may have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like that's dependent on certain things. But for instance, like my ex fiance, he lied to me about having a high school diploma. He didn't have one, and I didn't know. So me as a person that has college degrees, you lying to me about having a high school diploma that you never finished, I'm gonna be pissed. That's it. That's the end for me. Like I'm cutting that shit off. Well, like, I don't believe in lowering myself for something that you couldn't be honest about. Because I could have helped you.
That's that, Mary. That's not about the diploma. It's about the honesty.
Yeah,
but it's still in regards to, you know, this is what you have versus what I have or what my standards for being with somebody is to have some kind of education behind you.
Did his lifestyle? What was it with his lifestyle? Did his lifestyle show he didn't have a high school diploma?
Yeah,
you couldn't tell. Like you couldn't tell. I was still kind of young.
So they're saying why you didn't give him a chance because
it stopped him from being able to do things that I thought he was getting ready to do. You get what I'm saying? Like you lying to me about not having a high school diploma.
He just was lying. That's why.
You trying to go into the military?
That he's lying, but it shouldn't have been about, because you can sit here and say, "Oh, you don't have a degree, but you have a whole bunch of money in debt versus someone who went to maybe a tech school that has no money, literally no debt.
What I'm
makes
saying,
more
he didn't have
sense
shit.
than that.
He didn't have none of the shit.
But the reason why you were upset is because he lied. But it's not necessarily saying, hey, maybe can he provide and do X, Y, and Z that would want. So I think right now he was already shouldn't been taken seriously because he lied, not because he didn't have a diploma or things of that nature. And I think that's what makes a difference to be able to say, hey, are we being nitpicky about very little things that we probably should be more open towards, which is saying diploma versus not diploma, or is it because he lied?
It was more so a mixture of both, because it's like, if you're telling me this is your path that you want to go and you need a high school diploma for that, and I'm thinking you got a plan, but with that plan that you got requires a high school diploma, and you're telling me you don't have one, but I'm supposed to lower my standard in regards to me wanting somebody that does have some kind of future plan that can be in the works, that's an issue.
Yeah, but it,
you know what I'm saying?
Especially because women can't motivate men.
Like I'm thinking that I'm about to support you through this path that you're trying to go into.
All right, Mary, we don't give a fuck that nigga, man. Whatever. Like,
fuck that nigga for real. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, like we understand, but we just letting you know that he was dishonest. The reason why you had to cut him off.
But it's still the standard thing. It's still the standard.
Mary, but let me ask you one quick question right quick. So Mary, like,
come on, please. I don't want to talk about this nigga no more, Adrian.
I'm not talking about him.
Fuck that nigga, man. I hope he got a GED by now. Fuck,
chill,
I don't want to talk about him.
No. So I just got one question. I just need some clarity. So with you having degrees, you're saying like a single woman with college degrees shouldn't date a man who doesn't have a high school diploma?
I'm saying if you don't have a plan for the fact that you don't, you get what I'm saying? Have a path of regards to this. I just wanted clarity here. Don't have one. Don't try to ignore the fact that you don't have one and make a plan for something that requires one.
I just told you, Adrian.
My bad, bro. My bad.
You know she long-winded, man.
Listen, we're not gonna do this. It is what it is.
Isha, what were you saying?
I don't know. I was like, at the end of the day, women don't motivate men, remember? So
that's true. Look at this though. I think Mike Brown may be alluding to the fact that this might be the issue. Do the single ladies believe that they are cats highly desired, or they don't have red flags as well?
I don't got no red flags.
Well, you're not single. That wasn't for you, Mary. That question wasn't for you.
Right. This is single ladies.
It's not for you.
Yo, because Adrian kind of is like a trigger when he said what he said, but is this the problem?
Right.
Oh no, I have red flags. I have red flags.
Yeah, I don't have.
I don't lie about myself. I don't.
I have healed through my. I know that I've healed, so I don't have red flags in that regard, right? If there's something that I do, no, this is real talk. It's not even cap.
Yeah.
If there's something that I do that you feel is a red flag, that is on you to bring it to my attention and say, hey, I noticed this. What does this mean? Because it could be something very innocent. It could be innocuous. It could be a one-off. I don't know. We don't know unless we have that conversation. But I know I have gone through my journey of healing. And Mike's other questions, do I feel like I'm a catch, a highly desirable catch? Absolutely. I know I am. I know what I bring to the table.
I think what
I am. Go ahead.
Let me ask a question.
No, hold on, Adrian, because you already asked me a question.
No, I got we got to go after you though.
No, man, because I had got to take that role away from you. Some of your questions be bullshit, but
man, it's a good one.
Who's it for?
It's for Asia.
No. All right. So,
I'm not long-winded.
Asia, no, you good. No, I just wanted to ask though. I think what Mike's saying, like, are women lowering their standards? Or are they just standardizing? Like, are women overvaluing themselves and they're really just average?
Mm-hmm. So I you know what? That's a loaded question because, and I can't talk in eyes, but I can talk for myself. I know I'm not overvaluing myself, right? Mm-hmm. But as an overgeneralized statement, that's what we do here on this show. We overgeneralize. I don't believe that quality women are overvaluing themselves. I believe that men. Now I'm talking like a woman. A man back.
You
I
believe
believe
men?
that men don't know how to jump for what they want. They want the low-hanging fruit because they don't want to work for it. They don't want to work for a quality woman. And then the whole everybody, all these rolling the eyes and all these going back in the seats and whatnot. We did that last week, we got in trouble. So now y'all doing this okay. Double standard, niggas. But as
come on, I'm listening. I want you to finish this. Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is they want low-hanging fruit. And so yes, we are highly valued. We are not overvaluing ourselves. We're not pricing ourselves too high. I think we're right where we are, and what we command, what we demand, we should continue to demand it. Don't lower our standards because are so slim. I'd rather be single than lower my standards anymore. I've done that in my younger years. I'm not doing it. And so, yes, I'm highly valued. And any nigga that don't want to come and be the standard and jump and reach for what he wants, he's not the one for me. And there you go, Adrian. He's not the one for me because you want that. It's so easy. You want this easy chick. I'm not an easy chick because who you getting in me, you're getting a prize, like a whole prize. And that's what I think women honestly undervalue themselves. And that's when the lowering of the standards are. And that's where, the ignoring of the red flags happens because we're lowering our standards because we feel like we believe the lie. We believe the lie society. You want too much. Now there are some women that sit there. I only want someone 6'5". That's stupid. Like you sound crazy. I'm talking about a woman that really knows what she wants.
Y'all,
right. So here's the thing, though.
Put value on yourselves.
But
yeah, because here's the thing, though. Hold on, Mary. If you don't mind, can I? Here's the thing, though. Like to yourself, you will say you don't have no red flags, right? But how does the type of man you want view you? That's what I think is missing. So, right, like with men, we view ourselves the way that the women view us. So, based on the type of woman that we want, we know what type of man they want. So, I'm gonna be that so I can get her. You see what I'm saying? So, for you to just say, okay, I'm the prize and I don't see that I have no red flags, that's your opinion. How does the type of man you want view you, though? That's what you need to know.
Correct. And I believe I answered that. Because you asked two different questions. Me just the first one about me not having any red flags. I know I don't have any red flags. Let's define red flags too, right? So a red flag is maybe a bad temper. Pop off real quick.
Go ahead.
The temper, the pop off, right? That could be a red flag because she got a bad temper, she's a pop off, whatever. I know I'm not that, right? Because I know I used to be that way, and I've gone through my healing journey. I've done the soul work. That's how I don't have any red flags. Now, if you push me, like if you do something and you push me and I react to it, that is not a bad temper trait. That is situational because you've done something that crossed the line or offended me or whatever. And because I'm very communicative, I'll let you know that. But a man could be like, "Oh, you got a bad temper." No, it's have a conversation. So that's how I know I've healed. I've done the soul work. Second part of your question is how do men that I want view me? They may see me as overvaluing myself. Any man that sees me as you ain't even worth it or you're overvalued, you're not my nigga. You're not for me. Because my man who is for me or the crop of men that are for me would never sit there and say, "Oh girl, you think too highly of yourself." They wouldn't even say that because they want somebody that's high caliber. And when they see high caliber, they know it. It's like you see a nice shiny car. You see a nice model of a car and has all the features and it runs real good and it sounds real good. You're like, that thing's overpriced. No, you're going to pay for it because you want it. And you're going to do whatever you need.
How long have you been single?
I got divorced in 2018.
Isha, how long have you been single?
For a while.
Jazz, you single?
How do I answer this?
Yes.
Soon to be. Soon to be.
Oh.
Soon to be?
I'm going through divorce.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But you know what? Y'all the problem.
Explain.
Y'all the problem.
Explain.
Y'all the problem.
I don't feel like they. I don't
start with you. The first
problem.
Huh?
I don't feel like they could be as much of a problem as.
Let him break it down.
No, Mary, I want to see because he pointing at me like I'm gonna start. Go.
Isha don't even know how long she been single. That's a problem within itself.
Put him in a fucking bedroom.
Because what do you consider single entertain? You know, like I've been single.
You single.
You single.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Isha, your standards might be too high.
I doubt that, but go ahead.
You might be like, you might need to, you know.
So when I talk about my standards, it's not based off how a person looks and stuff like that. It's
not
based on how they act or how they respond towards me. So if you're not doing the things that I think you should do, then I'm not gonna. I'm too old. I'm about to be 40. I'm not gonna waste my time with somebody. Absolutely not.
Listen, don't water yourself down with nobody.
Hold on, Ish. Not only your standards, you might think you more popping than what you really are. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm just saying. You might think you more popping than what you really are.
So are you saying I'm not giving people a chance?
You too, Asia. And Jazz, you said you going through that right now. So
you too, Asia.
Lost.
Let him finish.
Jazz, you had something, but you lost it. And if you really want it, you better fight for that shit. I'm telling you that right now. Him too. Cause once you hit that market, shit gonna be crazy out there. I'm telling you.
And you're saying that it's crazy.
You gonna be hanging out with Isha.
Your standards are too high. That doesn't make sense.
Trust me when I tell you, you're gonna be hanging out with Isha.
Listen, I have no problem finding somebody. It's settling for somebody I have a problem with.
But like my thing is like, why is it always that the women have to come to a certain perspective for the man? Like, why is it not the men have to be more of quality than the women have to?
All I'm saying is, do y'all know how easy it is to get a man?
Any man?
Yes, I do, which is why I'm not that scared of being single again.
I could smile. Listen, I smile and niggas be like, "Oh, I'll take care of you." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
I don't want no nigga down. I don't want no nigga down the street though. Like, yeah, you're right. We can walk down the street and sit there and be like, "Baby, can I get your number?" All day, every day. That happens to us.
Hold on. I know this, Ace. I'm not saying jump out the window for just anything, but you might be turning down too much shit. That's what I'm saying. You might be potentially putting too much value on yourself. You might not be as dope as you think you really are. That's all I'm saying.
I'm probably doper than I think.
That's all I'm saying.
Right, and he's not saying like you're not dope, like as a person, but just to a man.
I'm not taking offense.
He's just saying that you might not be as dope as you think you are.
To a man.
Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. Yo, like y'all gotta chill.
I'm
seriously, like
you cool, but you ain't as cool as you think you
are. Thing is, why does it boil down to women?
It's a dime a dozen with women. It's a dime a dozen for men. See, the men that the women want, you guys are a dime a dozen. If you live in a place like in which we live, all the women have 1 million degrees. Everybody is decently paid. But y'all lacking in a lot of shit that y'all don't realize. Like Asia, you have a red flag. Wait, we're talking. Hold on, Jasmine. Everything's not mutually exclusive. Like you have to listen so you can learn. Cause you about to be outside. And so when you get outside, trust me. All right. Asia, your red flag is the masculine energy you exude, and then you don't, for some reason, you can't say men, like when we're talking about women, for some reason you can't do it. I don't understand it, but that would be a red flag. The show, we got almost 2,000 subscribers. That means motherfuckers is seeing you not being able to hold women accountable.
But that means they also
niggas.
can't hear either. Because I've sat there and said on plenty of times, I can be submissive to the right man. So if they sit there and say she got too much masculine energy, the niggas ain't listening. And I don't want a nigga that can't listen. And don't follow
Listen, you're right. They're going to hear things that stick out. Right? They're going to remember things that they might hear everything, but they're going to remember the things that stick out.
And
So
if a man values a critical thinker, here you go. If a man values someone who's that's real talk though. That's real talk.
I didn't say nothing.
Your hands did. Yeah, your spirit hands.
Critical thinking is hard to me.
Hold on, let me ask you this though. With the critical thinking piece, right? What type of successful man needs a woman who can critically think?
That's the stupidest question I've ever.
What type of successful man needs a woman who needs to be able to break down? And I don't need you. I need you to follow me, baby girl. That's it.
So wait, you want a dummy following you? You want a dummy following you? Are you kidding?
No. That's smart to follow me. That's highly intelligent to follow me.
This is the question I'm asking you. You don't want a woman that critically thinks to follow you. You just want her just to follow you.
I didn't say that. I didn't say. What I'm telling you is a woman's ability to critically think out things doesn't weigh that much when it comes to me because I have the plan. All you literally have to be able to do is follow the plan to be good with me. That's what I'm saying. A lot of things that y'all think successful men need, we don't need.
That's low vibrational.
Taken care of.
That's low vibrational.
That's not. Hear what I'm saying. Let me say this. My wife, right? Like my wife has an MBA. She's smart as hell. So does it benefit me? Yes. But if she couldn't follow the plan and be on one accord with me and be able to just follow me, the shit wouldn't work no matter how critically you could think.
So let me just add on to that, Asia, if you don't mind. Here's the thing that y'all missing. These are successful men that you're talking to. So when you guys are saying, no, that's bullshit, this is what niggas out here are saying also. So it would behoove you to maybe take some of it in, as opposed to saying it's low vibrational. You're going to keep low vibrating like Bub said. You're going to need to get a puppy.
I just said that because Quad said it.
But also you got to think about...
You said it, so.
Oh, yeah.
But also you got to think about how much we come across actual successful men. Like a lot of these niggas be putting on a front. And
we ain't
they
talking
really
about
don't
them.
Be as successful as they say.
We're not talking about them.
But you're saying we're on a panel right now with men that are successful, that really do got their shit together. This is rare. For us, women.
Mary, you're addressing something that is moot. Because
they really out here. There are a lot of posers, imposters out there. What are you talking about? That's half the problem right there. You come across these Negroes.
See, niggas don't listen.
My bad.
Go ahead, Ham.
It's okay, Jazz. Hey, Jazz, I will say that mic works well. I'm glad you testing the fuck out of it.
Child.
No, but Jazz, you could finish that. You're not wrong. Mary's not wrong. What we're saying is what you guys are refuting. Successful men, the men that are successful, are saying the same things we're saying. We're not talking about the nigga who's posing. We're talking about the nigga who's not.
But what I'm saying is a majority of the niggas are posing.
That's not true.
I feel like that is true. I feel like there's not as many. We don't come across as many successful men that are single, not taken, but that are single. Everybody on this panel that's successful is not single.
That's Jacksonville, Florida. The fuck? They still got slaves.
Are y'all from Jacksonville, Florida? I'm not in Jacksonville. First of all, I'm in Orlando.
No, that's a joke. But like Asia, she wouldn't necessarily be able to say the same thing. Jasmine wouldn't be able to say the same thing.
Men are already taken.
There's a lot of
men are taken.
But we're saying, like, especially like we use our area. Same argument. I think your argument is valid, Mary. I think it'll be less valid for Asia or Jasmine.
But can I just sit there? So I saw in the comments, in the public comments, that I think Mike Brown said it, that what man wants a woman that can critically think? That means debating every day. No, that does not mean that. Thank you. That's not what that means. And as soon as I sat there and said, y'all jump on that. I'm not saying debate and argue every day. What I'm saying is where you are weak, I am strong. It means if I sit there and see something coming down the street that you may not be able to be privy to see, or maybe you just missed it because you're human, don't forget, I can be like, yo, I see that truck coming. We got to be careful with that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying let's wants to date every day, all day. Not me. I want to date.
Let me get Adrian after you
all day.
Yeah. Hey, but if it sounds, go ahead, Adrian. After you reply, I want to get Jazz in. Go ahead.
Okay. Right. But the thing is, and I like the way him was saying it though, right? Like we're telling you from a standpoint of, and I'm not saying y'all you would date me had you known me outside of here, but most successful men, the things that y'all harp on that y'all feel are big keys, we don't need those things. So it's not important to me that you do. I want a dummy? No, it's not important to me that you can critically think when I can critically think myself. I already can lead myself. I've already been in leadership positions. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife don't work. I already can do all of these things myself. So that's not a real benefit in terms of it being a great benefit to the type of men that y'all are looking for. The things that are beneficial when we talk about feminine, when we talk about submissive, we can see that in how you interact with people, right? So like when we be up here talking, all of the interrupting y'all doing, can't never let nobody get in the word. And I know it's just a podcast. I know it's just a podcast. So right, I know it's just a podcast, but I'm making that point for just women in general, because we know a lot of women like to and go back and forth. So I know this is a show, so we're going back and forth. So I'm not saying like this is you particular, but like women will want to go back and forth. When we talked about women, I can build my man up, I can do this. The type of men y'all want to marry, they don't need those things. So figure out to the masses, figure out what those men need and value if that's the type of man you want. I'm not saying change for it. You could do whatever you want to do, but the proof is in the pudding. If how you've been acting and how you've been moving, if you haven't been seeing the results you want to see, you got to do something else.
But like, why is so much of that in regards to the women having to do the work? Like, why
because like Hemp said, we have a dime a dozen to choose from.
That's why. Shit, they gotta do something.
Y'all men are so wounded, and it's
I
sad.
feel like we do. I feel like we already do everything. Like, why is it not y'all trying to figure out the type of women?
Mary, if you want to, if we just like I stopped Jazz, look at the question, scrolling. If y'all want to ask another question after, we can do that. But women actually do have to do much more work than you guys think, because the shit that you focused on, we don't care about largely. Go ahead, Jazz. You want to jump in? Jazz,
do you want to jump in? She has nothing
well,
to say.
look, because look, women sit there and think that they don't have issues. But you are a part of the reasons why relationships don't work. There's culpability. There's culpability there. And right now, right, the lady that I presented with the video, she was talking about women got these over, like they think they are what they aren't. They look up for men that they can't attain, and they all looking for the same men. And women keep going down these paths and expecting different results. That's insanity. So don't sit there and act like you guys don't need to make any adjustments.
Do women need to make adjustments, or do women need to? Okay, I guess my stance on it is this. Firstly, are there women that need to make adjustments to themselves? Absolutely. I'm not saying that all women walking the earth are perfect and the men need to. I'm not saying none of that. But what I am saying is that, do we value ourselves so much that we can be dismissive of you like what you like? I mean, the thing about it is, you're attracted to what you're attracted to. You like what you like. And so there are some men that are just automatically not gonna make the cut. That just is what it is. Because there ain't no man out there that's gonna be like, I'm gonna wake up next to Boom Shika, who look like God knows what every morning, and I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna lay next to that every day. Women feel the same way. So I'm saying that automatically she's right in the sense that, as far as even looks, I don't even know if it's how tall you are, whatever. We do count some men out automatically. But what I am saying is that we still have to have our standards. And if you're saying that valuing ourselves in a way that we're not willing to lower our standards or settle, that's completely that's a I feel like men, I know that you all are aware that there are clearly less of you than there are of us. We get that. However, I think that nowadays that we really feel as though we're searching for whatever unicorn we're searching for, but they're out there. So I don't feel like we have to lower and dismiss everything that we want in order to be with somebody. That's just not
why you're not getting them then.
You
like
said
Hank
what?
said, why aren't you said there are unicorns out there that you guys could potentially get. Why y'all not getting them then?
Because we've tricked ourselves into thinking that we need to settle, we need to ignore red flags. And like you, there are red flags, but because we have conditioned our minds into thinking that, oh, well, you know, I don't want to be alone forever and I don't want this and I don't want that. So I'm gonna just go ahead, and that's why we dismiss all the red flags, because we're thinking that, okay, we want to be with somebody, they're not going to be perfect. So we see a red flag and it might be pink. It ain't even red because we got our rose colored glasses on and we're trying to get to the next stage. So we definitely overlook a lot of things. And to say that women have a lot to fix, I think that we would be insane to think that men don't have a lot of shit to fix too. So I don't feel like y'all get a pass because it's less of y'all.
Wait, the women on this panel say y'all said women smarter than us. Trust me, a man is not gonna look over that red flag. The red flags that you saying y'all women be looking over, trust me, a man ain't gonna look over those red flags. He gonna know immediately. Say, nah, I can't be with shorty. That's out. Trust me when I tell you.
If a man bypasses me over about this podcast, that's silly. Like, that's ridiculous, right? Yeah. And so that's stupid. When I meet a man, because I am in the dating scene, when I meet a man, I know how to approach a man. I know how to talk to a man. This right here, in different settings, I'm a different person. I have different roles in different settings. At work, at my business, with my clients, I'm a different person. I put on different personas. I really do. My persona here.
Asian, how often do you approach a man? You ever approached a man that you was into, that you wanted?
Not on a date before. Yes, I have.
How often though? How often, and how did that work out for you?
When I asked the guy on a date, we were on a date. We did. He ended up being gay though. I didn't know he was gay. That found out after the fact. But I asked him on a date. We worked together. This was a few years ago. We worked together. Asked him on a date. I thought he was so attractive. He was so successful. I just like, oh my gosh. And so I asked him on a date. We went on a date. We had a good time. And I think we had a date after that. But then I told one of my friends, I was like, yeah, I'm on a date with so-and-so, so-and-so. They was like, you do know. And I was like, word? And then I found that out. And then it actually came out like a year or so after that too. So that's what happened with that one. Another guy I did ask out before. Y'all are crazy. It happens. And I wasn't even here in the DC area. I was in Pennsylvania. And another guy.
You went on a date with a gay nigga?
I didn't know. He was a
You didn't even say anything?
I didn't know.
Would that be your best friend? Why was y'all on a date? I'm confused.
No,
I'm very confused.
No. Listen,
put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
Put him in the bathroom.
No. I need to know how this happened.
I don't.
I do. I need to know. Why you going on a date? Why did you go on a date?
He's not listening. He want the answer.
Go ahead, Asia.
He did not come across as gay at all.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a dude that I worked with. He was super successful. We had good chemistry. He was all right. I asked him on a date. He did not come across as gay. I don't like gay men. So if I didn't know he was gay, there was no way I'd have asked him out on a date. I asked him. I found out after the fact.
It's not even on your part. I'm trying to figure out his part. Like, did he know it was a date? Did he feel
I asked him. Yes, of course.
Oh, he's bi.
To me, that's gay.
He's sexually fluent.
Ain't no such thing.
No.
He's bisexual, but to me, that's
hey, yo, can I say something?
Yeah, you're right.
Hold on, let me say something. Back to what Jazz was saying, because I want to be clear. And I probably did say it wrong. When I'm like, women have things to work on, and we're talking about like the valuing and the lessening of yourself, right? Let me change my wording. So I don't mean to value yourself any less. I mean to value the things that you think we appreciate, to switch those things, right? So like how we were talking about you can support a man and all this other stuff, right? My wife does this thing and I didn't know she'd do it, but it's so fire, right? Where she like, when she don't agree with me, she just say, okay. She say, oh, okay, I understand. And that keeps us from going back and forth. Like that's a skill. So
I
that's
tried that with this nigga and
that
shit did not work.
I'm telling you, I don't, because I'm a debater and I like to argue and go back and forth. Like that's me. But we don't do that. But I'm just using that as an example of like a skill that a man will value, because now it's no bickering. We don't go back and forth. And you hear a lot of men saying, hold on, I get that. You tried it. Just because you tried it with one and it's still a good skill to have. So I'm just throwing that out there in terms of looking at different skills that men appreciate versus some of the things that you may think. So when Hamp is saying, hey, this works, Bub is saying, hey, this works. Other successful men that I hear saying, hey, these are things we value. Try to just incorporate those skills or find different skills to use.
Give me another skill, because that shit ain't working on this nigga, okay? I was like okay, I understand. I respect your view. I was that all damn day.
I feel like that's just a skill in general, like being able to agree to disagree. You know, and even with us as a panel, like I feel like we do that very well. Even though we will all go back and forth, it's just like, all right, like I get why you feel the way you feel, but listen, this is just where I stand and I stand on that.
But that's what I'm saying. There's no but after, because as soon as you say but, you dismiss everything that's said. But for somebody to be able to say something, you say, okay, I understand. And then that literally be it.
When you agree to disagree, that is a but. When you agree to disagree, that is a but.
No, but it's a difference.
I get what you're saying, but I'm gonna stand on what I say.
It's not even about agreeing. What I'm telling you is it's not even about agreeing. It's just understanding me.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
You agree to disagree. You're agreeing to disagree.
No, you are not.
Does that mean that
you're not listening to me.
The other person.
Listen. I'm saying what she says is, I understand. She doesn't even agree with me. It's just,
but you
I
don't
understand.
even know that she doesn't agree.
You don't even get the understanding piece. This is what I'm telling you.
So, but what Sharnice is saying,
y'all won't even take the time to let us know y'all understand us without still having to give us that rebuttal about how you see it.
But the thing about it is understanding your point of view and understanding my point of view is understanding that we don't agree.
No, you're not listening.
I am listening.
She's acknowledging his point without rebuttal necessarily. She's letting him know she understands, and then it stops. You're saying, I get you, but
I hear you, but agreeing to disagree is not the same thing.
Mary. But everything that comes after it is bullshit. Right? So you gotta listen to what his wife's not doing what you're doing. She's just saying, I hear you, babe. I understand. And then they probably pause,
right. She ain't saying
and it marinates.
So she's not acknowledging her point. So that's saying that he's not even going the extra mile to acknowledge her point.
No,
right. That's what me is saying. Like, so it matters that we acknowledge the male perspective,
but he's not.
That's fine. But there's no one. There doesn't need to be an
and it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame that y'all can't hear what he's saying, and y'all refuse to acknowledge the point of what his wife chooses to do.
I'm not.
Look.
I'm not.
You started talking before I stopped talking.
We're acknowledging it. And I'm saying that I've even done it.
Hold on, Jazz.
I've been the one to say, I understand what you're saying. I have even lied and agreed to shit I didn't even agree to.
That's not what she's doing either.
But what I'm saying is that I have
Adrian,
dismissed
never
the
mind. Don't give him the game.
And I literally have said, I understand.
But my thing is like, where is his piece?
Babe, what were you saying?
I just said it.
No, what was what were you saying?
Let's do it a fourth time. Let's see if he gets it this time.
Well, my
No, because it's ridiculous that y'all not even hearing what the man's saying, and then Mary, look, watch this. Go ahead, talk while I'm talking, and then try to answer what I'm saying while I'm talking.
You're not getting it. I'm saying
No. What
yes.
I'm saying is, go ahead and ask me a question at the same time I'm saying something. Go ahead, and then ask me a question about what I'm saying while I'm saying it.
I didn't ask you nothing, so go ahead.
I didn't like how you yawned earlier.
I think he asked you a question. Maybe he wanted you to answer. I don't know.
I'm yawning because I'm drinking. That's why I'm yawning.
I'm just getting at Mary because she yawned 5 minutes ago. I ain't like that shit at all.
Because I finished my second cup of wine. That's why I'm yawning.
I can tell by your eyes.
What?
Let's see that right eye. You got a sleepy eye?
No, nigga, I'm high.
Had us on like 3 hours.
Oh, that right eye. That eye right. You cross-eyed ass. All right.
No, I'm not. But like I was saying, like, yes, he acknowledges the fact that his wife has told him, I understand, but I'm asking, where is your part in understanding? Where is your part of being like, okay, I understand you too, even though we are not agreeing, obviously. She understands where you're coming from, but obviously there's a disagreement somewhere. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, where is your manner in regards to like, all right, she understands me, but I understand you as well. That's agreeing to disagree.
So this is what I'm telling you. There's an art to just understand, letting a man know you understand him without going back and forth with him, without me having to understand you always. There's an art to just letting a man know, okay, I understand you. And that keeps us from going back and forth because she knows me. Like, I'll go back and forth with you, especially if I'm right, because I'm intelligent too. You know what I'm saying? But are there times when I do listen to her, when I make sure I understand her? Yes. But the fact that I work harder on myself to give her those things is because she gives me those things. You see what I'm saying? When I talk to her, it's not okay, baby, we'll just agree or disagree. She'll tell me how she sees something. I'll be like, well, nah, this is boom, boom. Well, okay, babe, well, that's what you want to do. All right, cool.
But that's not agreeing to disagree. How is that still not agreeing to disagree? Like, listen, like even with my husband, it's like, all right, like I get where you're coming from. Do you understand where I'm coming from? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times it's like, I'm more so the person where it's like, I'm definitely a lot more understanding. So it's like,
what I'm saying is you're talking about something that's reciprocal.
Where I'm coming from.
Right. So I get what you're saying. What you're saying is something that's reciprocal. Hey, you understand me? We'll agree to disagree. That's reciprocal. I'm talking about something she's just giving me, whether I try to understand her or not. You know what I'm saying? When you think about you want to be a wife or a husband, what you do should not be based upon what you receive back. If I'm gonna be a husband, I'm gonna make sure you're good no matter what. When you disrespectful, if you are respectful, when you fall out of line, I'm gonna be who I'm supposed to be in spite of you. I'm not gonna use you as an excuse to not treat you the way that I'm supposed to treat you.
AW,
with her being in her role as my wife, she's going to listen to understand me and going to let me know she understands me. I didn't even know how much that joint mattered till one day it clicked. I'm like, yo, hold up. You don't even be agreeing with me. You just be saying you just like understand. And she be like, yeah, and we bust out and laughed. I was like, damn, the whole time I'm thinking you just be on my side and you just believe everything I say and you automatically with me. And that's
my point right there. That is my point. That you don't even know that she doesn't even agree with you.
My thing
is like, but this is my point. Look at how powerful that was.
That you have no idea that she doesn't even agree with you. She's just sitting here saying, okay, you understand, but you have no idea what's going on the other side.
Right, but how was I able to gain that wisdom? I gained that wisdom because of what she was doing. And now it made me, it made me have to be more attentive. She allows me, hold on. She trusts me enough as a man that, okay, I don't have to teach this nigga. If I be who I'm supposed to be, he's going to figure it out eventually. That's why she doesn't tell me anything more than once, because she knows I'll come back to it. I'll be like, yo, babe, sometimes you got to remind me. No, I don't. Eventually you'll come back. And that's what I do. She gives me the room to be who I need to be. And she doesn't teach me to do it. But she trusts me that I'm going to be that and that I'm going to do that. And that's what I need to learn how to do for the right man. That's all I'm saying.
Just feeding your ego. That's my thing.
Yeah, I think it goes
your ego. Like, or is she really understanding where you're coming from? Because what it sounds like to me is because she doesn't even give a fuck about what you're saying. She's just feeding your ego.
I don't think
no,
that.
you can't say, hold on. You can't say she don't give a fuck about what I say because she literally just moved all the way from across the country with her kids to be here and trust me enough to follow.
I'm not saying it in general. I'm just saying you're
that's
saying that you got. I'm saying that you had a conversation and was just like, oh, like whatever, like I don't even care. Like I'm just letting you know I understand. That means at that point she's just feeding your ego. She's being able to make you feel like the man that you are.
You don't have to agree with somebody to understand them. She listens to understand. That's who she is.
But you just said she don't understand most of the time.
When we did the podcast, if you notice, she don't even always answer questions right away. So when I talk to her, sometimes she need to pause. She need to really think about it because she's going into it wanting to gain understanding. The beginning of wisdom is understanding. That's how she moves to gain understanding. And so, yeah, I like what Shar was saying. Like, dang, you didn't even realize that. I didn't. That's a lack of attentiveness on me that she didn't have to point out for me. Because I'm a man, I adapt and eventually I get better, and she gives me the room to do that. Too often women want to, I'm gonna motivate him, or now this is what he need to do. Boom, boom, boom. She trusts me enough to learn to do it, and that's what I am doing. That's what I was able to do, and we didn't have to get into a back and forth. That's what you have to do with a real man. You have to let him be a man. That's what I'm saying. This is stuff that y'all missing. Y'all see things from a perspective, and it's a good perspective. But if y'all come thinking y'all gonna teach us and do this, that's why y'all get the pushback.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. But my thing is,
hold on. I got one. Give me 10 more seconds. Because then again, I am very ego driven because I'm smart, I'm black, I'm successful, I'm a therapist. You definitely have to be a certain way to get to me. And she is that naturally. She's not gonna fight with me. But she know when she's soft, when she chill, when she understand, Adrian will figure it out. That's why when I asked her to marry me, she said yes. I trust you because you will figure it out. Because that's what you do.
But that's the thing. Like a lot of times, like you just saying, like a lot of times, it's times where like she'll tell you she understand, but it's just like y'all just kind of like it's just kind of like whatever. A lot of times we tend to be able to try to feed somebody's ego versus even trying to get on their level of understanding. A lot of women won't understand where a man's coming from. Me personally, I do. I understand my husband. I understand where my husband is coming from. But when I've dealt with different men, it's just me avoiding that conversation because you're not going to hear me.
I don't think she's doing that, though. We had a podcast that said it was something about a submissive woman being able to get everything that she wants. I think she's using that as a power. That's a strength in her. Because she is submissive, he is going to do it. Because she is submissive, because she's doing that, he's going to catch up and he's going to line up and she's going to be able to get whatever she needs from that man.
Because she's telling him that she understands, not necessarily understanding.
But I don't.
What makes you think she doesn't understand me?
I'm just
because
saying,
when most women say, "Hey, I understand," to stop from arguing.
Yes.
No, that's not what she does.
But
and that's
I'm
what I'm
not
telling. Hold on. And for all
specifically.
y'all women, hold on. For all y'all women who say you understand a man just to keep him from going back and forth, that's not wise. Why don't you listen to really understand his point of view? Not to go back and forth. Hold on, not to agree, but to understand what the man is saying. Y'all want to be all of this to a man. You want the man to give you his last name. You want the man to provide and protect, but you won't even understand me. You will lie and be like, I understand, just to keep me from talking, rather than say, let me really understand where this man is coming from.
I disagree. I think that she understands you. I guess my point goes back to how long it took you to figure out that she was not saying her point of view. And so, yes, that means there's more on her to be able to hold on to whatever is going on because she has not been able to communicate with you because she's being so submissive, because she hasn't been able to tell you her side of whatever it is because she's being so submissive to you. And so for me, I think that's what happens, that women tend to lose themselves because we are doing everything that we can to make sure we're being that submissive person for you. But it took you how long to figure out that she didn't even agree with what you're saying. So to me, that is like there's a lack of communication and doing all of that to be able to placate to you so that you can be the man, or for us not to be able to argue.
Listen, so just because she listens to understand doesn't mean she doesn't communicate to me the way that she sees things.
You just said that you didn't even know that she didn't even understand
that
she didn't even agree with you. So how is she communicating with you if you didn't even know that she didn't even agree with what you're saying?
This is not an every single time thing. What I'm saying is, my wife will watch. Hold on, hear me out. We'll watch something. She'll say, "Hey, I see it from this and this." I'm like, "Yeah, babe, kind of." But what about this? Okay, I see it from that point of view. And then the conversation just rolls. You see what I'm saying? So then after a while, I'm like, "Hold up. You understand me, but you don't agree with me right there." Like one day, it just stood out to me. I just caught it. So she's always saying her points. You know what I'm saying? I'm not shutting her beliefs down. Again, we have to take into consideration she left everything she knew to come here because I'm a safe space for her. I listen to her all the time. I listen to her all the time. I listen to her.
I'm talking about what you're
it's something totally different.
We're talking about specifically when you are saying that there may be some type of conflict or there's something there, and she's listening to you, and then she goes, "You know what? All I'm doing is listening, and I understand where you're coming from." And then the conversation is done, so that there is no arguing.
I'm not talking about that with decision making, really. I'm not talking about that really with per se like a conflict. Like if we're talking about a decision that needs to be made, whether she agree with me or not, we're gonna do what I want to do. You see what I'm saying? Like that's how it rolls. But I understand too, like she's wise enough that I have to always value the way that she sees things. So I don't think I'm about to wake her up. Hey, babe.
Don't wake her up.
Nah, she might have to explain. It might need to come from a woman what I'm talking about.
No, I get what you're saying. Like you wanted somebody to understand you. I get that. But what I'm saying, my perspective of it is agreeing to disagree. Yes, I understand your point of view. Like me and my husband is very intellectual. So I understand his point of view on certain shit, but I also understand on my point of view, and I stand on my point of view. You get what I'm saying? So we at some point agree to disagree. It doesn't mean that I'm dismissing how he feels or he's dismissing how I feel. It's just like, you know what? Like, we just don't agree on this topic. Like, it's cool, but I understand why you feel that way.
All I'm saying is, women that are listening outside of the podcast, y'all, it's a beautiful thing when you just listen to try to understand your man. That doesn't mean be quiet. That doesn't mean not share your point of view. That means strategically, when you have the opportunity in some situations, just listen to understand that man. That matters to a man, even when he don't see it. I didn't know how much it mattered until I peeped game.
Especially if that man killing himself for you and the family. He's spending time away from the family to provide for y'all, not seeing the kids because he at work. He know all this work he putting in, he gonna die before you. So he gonna pretty much leave everything to you. So at least you could do is listen to the goddamn guy.
Especially when you have so many women, who say, "My man don't never want to talk to me. He don't never want to open up to me." When he does talk, sometimes that's not a time to agree to disagree. Sometimes just listen and let him talk. So now I'm not talking about major decisions in which you have to give your input. That's back to the picking and choosing of your battles. Sometimes just let that man talk. Guess what? He'll want to talk to you a lot more. If you let him just talk and you, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I understand. You don't got to agree. Just listen to understand. That's a powerful tool. I'm telling y'all. I also do couples therapy for a living. I'm telling y'all. Y'all know women always, my man don't talk. He don't want to open up. Listen to understand a lot more. If you want that result,
that goes for the woman. I can't. My eyes gonna sit there and roll in the back of my head. I can't take it because it's like, my God, it's.
Asia over there.
Asia, go ahead.
I was quiet for 30 minutes. I just couldn't take it no more. What about us? Damn, like honestly, what about us? And Sharnice made it.
We don't matter. What matters is how they feel.
Men. Men want to be understood so bad, right?
Not really.
What about us? We want to be heard and understood too. And so if we just sit there and just let y'all just have it, y'all got it, you got it. We're losing ourselves, and that causes resentment. So yes, I can last. We can do that for a little. We can do that, but at some point, we have to be. We have to still let our light shine. That sounds so cliche, but I mean it. Like we still got to be. We still got to let us be us. And that's not always a bad thing. Again, the woman for you, your woman is not going to be debating you all day, every day, and always sitting there nagging you. I'm not talking about that. Like, please stop going to the extremes. I'm talking about real life individuals and real life relationships. If I have a point to get across, you can't cut me off and be like, man, I'm the man. Da 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 da. All of the time. You can't do that because I'm gonna shut up. Fine, you got it. And then I'm gonna stop talking, period. I'm gonna become indifferent. You don't want that to happen. Y'all got to love us. You can't talk Chinese and we don't understand Italian. You can't do that. You have to let us talk. There has to be a meeting of the minds. There has to be some kind of communication, dialogue, not just monologues. And y'all women, y'all ain't got no man. I couldn't take it no more. I just had to sit there and say that. Like, it's not all about y'all all the time. It's really not. Yes, y'all are the leaders. Yes, y'all are the man, but it is not about y'all. We are in this with you. It's not. It's us in this together. And
that's what that's what
you know what
is like.
Nah, Mary, nah. You went 7 times already.
Oh my God.
I'm
Here you
going.
go ahead, because you ain't saying nothing worth for shit.
Nah, I think
that part.
I think that Jasmine, you ain't been listening the whole time. It's fine. But
oh, I've been listening.
I think the key, I think you've been listening to refute, and I don't think you've learned anything, which is a shame. Because every time I get up here, I learn. But y'all niggas, I guess, smart or some shit like that. But I think the peace is like super important to us. So I think that the key takeaway for that is she picks and chooses maybe better than some other women, and she creates a space where it can be peaceful in that home, because it's hard out here. So if she says her point and she says, babe, I understand, and they move forward, I think they have maybe a level of peace that all men aren't achieving in their households. That's my takeaway from her doing that. It's probably more peaceful than it may be in some other places.
For who? And I want to take it off of him. Can we take it off of him?
But just even Asia, you're right. Even if you did a hypothetical for that man in that situation, right? Because remember, he said she still gets to say what she's saying, then he'll say what she said, and she acknowledges what he said. See, agree to disagree doesn't always happen. That doesn't always happen. Everybody makes their points. They can't come to a common ground, so they just let it ride. And very rarely would agree to disagree are there acknowledgments of what the other person said. So I think that's the takeaways that I got from that. It could be a more peaceful environment, and they're actually comprehending what you said.
Thank you for saying acknowledgement on both parts. I thank you for saying that, Ham, because that's important. It really is.
It is. And I think too, like, just because I'm saying this one piece, Asia, like everything else that you said, I agree with. You know what I'm saying? So while, I'm talking about this one piece in which how she listens to just understand, there's a whole other pieces when, like, I check my kids, right? Listen, I love y'all equally, but this is my wife. She will talk to y'all one time, where she is here above me. Babe, what do you need? Like every day, like that, all of that stuff is being given on top of this one piece that I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So just because I'm highlighting this one thing, I'm not I'm the man, beat my chest, like follow me.
Listen, nigga,
like, no,
you don't gotta justify what you said. Just say what the fuck you said. Fine.
But I'm just making clarity. Clarity is given.
Thank you for the clarification, because you're not a caveman bump on your chest. Thank you for the clarification.
That nigga is a caveman. Shit me. All right. Final thought on this topic, Ish.
If it works for them, it works for them. That's all I have. Like I can't, because I can't judge about what goes on in somebody else's house. I think it's a strength, honestly, for her to be able to do that.
Yeah. So, well, I guess a better question, but in terms of the women choosing wisely, and maybe re-standardizing. What is your final take on that?
I don't think that women should settle. There is slim pickings out here, and we do ignore a lot of red flags. So,
okay, damn. Well, I guess that was a waste of 45 minutes. No, I just feel it's dangerous because I don't think y'all deserve to be by yourselves. But if you can't take heed in a conversation of some parts of it and we walk away the same exact way we came in, what were we there for?
Yep, I admitted that I have some red flags with me.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
But the summation was like just like what it was in the beginning. You feel me?
Because the question went all different type of ways.
That's true.
Bottom line, women are not choosing wisely.
We went to submission, to women choosing wisely, to not listening to men, and
to fuck these niggas. Like, it is what it is.
Jazz, you got a final take on that?
I would say I would consider myself to have been a submissive wife. I do feel as though a lot of times in interactions with my husband, I chose to go the route of whatever's not going to make us go back and forth one time. So I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. What I will say is that even that tidbit or that lesson or my picking and choosing battles to no avail, I feel like there are a lot of men out here who, and maybe in a sense they feel how women feel. Maybe they're looking at themselves a little higher than they need to because I don't know, for whatever reason. So I think that even in being submissive, even in attempting to, I guess, essentially, I know I did ignore red flags. So that's why I started by saying that, yes, I do think that women don't choose wisely all the time. However, when you're in something, especially if you've committed and you're now in a marriage with somebody, you're going to do everything you can. So I will say that no, women don't choose as wisely. And there are some women who are very submissive and pick and choose battles. And even still, sometimes things just don't work. So and I really am inclined to say that it's more on the man side than it is the women, but that's just where I'm at with it. So
yeah,
I got one quick question for what she said here. I just want one quick question. So if you were to get married again, if you were to get married again, would you still be like submissive in how you were picking, choosing your battles, or because it didn't work with this one, you're not going to do that in the next one?
At my core, I do believe in women being submissive wives. And I know that's kind of like a umbrella statement. And sometimes women take that as, oh, you're saying that you're just going to bow down and no matter what. There's a difference. There's a lot of strong women that are submissive. But I'm not saying that I wouldn't be submissive because, like I said, at my core and what I do believe the man should be the head of the household. So we are going to need to be submissive. So yeah, I would definitely be submissive again. However, the core of this whole statement of women choosing, I will choose wiser the next go around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think everything's not exclusive to if you get this wrong, does it work or not work? But we have to self-reflect. That we leave a situation like a relationship or a divorce or a friendship and we think we're not culpable, we have a problem. So I think we really need to hone in on what I can improve because that's what you can control. You know? Interesting. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Y'all been doing an awesome job. What time is it?
Too damn late.
Nah,
It's the
fuck
next
that.
day, nigga. It's the next day, okay? It's not Thanksgiving no more, nigga. It's the day after.
Babe, pour wine in her. Pour wine in her cup.
Jazz been drinking.
She finished the bottle.
Jazz, come get some of this cognac.
Oh,
Come get some of this cognac, Jazz.
Oh, I'm coming.
Yo,
Wrap this shit up, nigga. Wrap this shit up.
Nah, I got one more. Fuck it, I don't care. Y'all just stay on, or else, goddamn it.
Or else. I just say you run that shit.
All right, this one because I named it this, and we didn't even get to this, but it's gonna be a hell of a chop up for sure. I got a lot of shit. I got an argument with Asia. I put Jazz in her place. Mary was yawning. Yeah, it's good.
Don't start your shit at 12 o'clock a.m.
Bub told y'all niggas ain't all that. This is good, man. All right.
I'm all that. I don't give a fuck what Bub say. I'm all that. Get some shit. Stop playing with me.
Just don't smoke and drink at the same time, Mary. You look sleep. All right. Y'all know Matt Walsh? Y'all heard of him?
Yeah.
All right. Let me just refresh it real quick so you can start from the top.
Men should not cry in public. It is unmanly and dishonorable. Rare exceptions can be made to this rule, but we make far too many exceptions. And the exceptions are pretty obvious. A loved one dies, your child is born, your bride is walking down the aisle at your wedding. In the latter two cases, a dignified tear or two may be acceptable, but please don't turn the faucet on. There's no reason to go overboard. Don't try to prove a point. Other exceptions can be imagined. We've talked about some of them before. Perhaps, for example, you're saying goodbye to your family before embarking on a 3-year voyage to Mars. Maybe you're watching the end of the movie Rudy. Aside from those rare occurrences, the point is that men comport themselves with a certain level of stoicism and dignity, learning to control their emotions and projecting an image of strength, of someone who is composed and in control. Men should not cry in public. It is unmanly and dishonorable. Rare exception.
So if you guys don't know Matt Walsh, he I think the thing he went viral for is like, what is a woman? And he was answering it, from the old terms of a woman is exactly what we deem a woman to be in terms of female parts, so on and so forth. And he was going to different campuses. He was on a bunch of different shows, and he was standing on that because I think at his child's school they were like trying to teach, the alternative. So he was just saying straight up, a woman is a woman, period. And it was not a man who transitioned. It's not a man who called themselves a woman. A woman is a woman. So that's what he went viral for, I think, as of recent. All right. So is it okay for men to cry?
Is that a real question? Like, and I'm being very serious. Is this for real? His commentary.
What do you think about the clip?
I think it was whack. I think that it breeds toxic masculinity. I hear it about feedback. I'm not sure if you hear that, Ham.
I don't.
Okay, that's okay. I'll keep on going then. But I think that it breeds toxic masculinity, and it's causing men to bottle up their emotions. What's wrong with crying? And why is it a guide? You can only have 2 teardrops coming down your face in public. That's causing a man not to fully express himself. And I think when anybody doesn't fully express themselves, it builds up inside, and then it comes out in a negative way or a toxic way. So I think that men not being allowed to cry, that's a sign of weakness. I think that that's a sign of strength because you are in control of your emotions and you don't care what anybody else thinks. I think him sitting there saying, you know, if you're leaving your family members and you cry and they go away and you cry, then that's a problem. I think that's foolishness. Grief, you can't control grief in any shape, form, or fashion. And you're causing people to be, that's why mental health is at an all-time low. I don't know if I say low or high, bad. It's all-time bad, negative right now. Mental health is a serious situation right now because people don't know how to express themselves in a healthy fashion. And if anybody listens to this man saying men don't cry, he is creating monsters of mental health.
See, me personally, I don't agree to the fullest extent of that. Like, I feel like when they say the persona of like men don't cry, it's in regards to keep yourself together because that's what you need to do. You're supposed to be the head. You're supposed to be the strong one. You're supposed to be able to not saying that it's right. But you're supposed to be the one that is strong enough to withhold everybody that's under you. So for instance, my husband, he, like, if something happens with my kids, say they get into a fight with each other, my boys specifically, if they get into a fight with each other or something happens, somebody bumps a head, something, and they bleeding, first thing he tells them is men don't cry. Men don't cry. You know what I mean? And I don't think that it's in a way where you can't show your emotion, but crying doesn't have to be your emotion. You know what I'm saying? You can keep yourself together and still move forward. Now, I've had somebody tell me as well, like, oh, I don't like how he says men shouldn't cry. They should be able to be emotional. That doesn't mean that they don't have emotional stability, things like that. I don't think that's what that gives off when you're telling somebody men don't cry. Me as a woman, I was raised personally as men or women, you don't cry because it's a sign of weakness. And that's how I was raised, me being a woman. Like, that's just what it is. Don't cry because that's a sign of weakness. But when you're in regards to men being able to, telling them like, oh, don't cry, I really don't think it's a big issue with that. Like, you're supposed to be able to show that you are stable. Sometimes a lot of things that people don't understand is a lot of things have to be handled internally. Some things should be handled, behind closed doors. You don't have to make a scene for it. So I think it's more perceived as showing a scene when you're crying in public or outward or things like that. That's just my perspective.
Okay. What you think, Bob?
First off, homie said men shouldn't cry in public. I agree. I agree with that. But you formed the question, is it okay for men to cry? I would say yeah. I've cried. I've cried in front of my wife. I've cried anything that pertained to bringing pain to my mother, my wife, or my kids. I'm going to cry. Anything physical, I'm not going to cry. Anything physical to me, I'm not going to cry. But have I cried? Of course I've cried. And if I cry, you better know I ain't fucking around. I'm crying for a very, very good reason. All right. So, but crying in public, nah, that's out.
What you think, Ish?
I agree with Asia. I think on the mental health piece and the emotional intelligence piece, that I think a man being unable to cry and not expressing his emotion, I think that's why a lot of men do like kind of commit suicide. A lot of men are depressed because they're keeping these things bottled up. When Mary said something about holding it in, I was raised not to be weak. I was raised by a whole bunch of strong women. And it wasn't until my mom passed away, and I was mad at myself because I was hurting and I was grieving. And I went to the therapist and she was like, well, that was a big loss. Why do you feel you can't cry? And I think that's the same with men. Like, it's okay to cry. I think letting emotions is a strength. And that's when my healing started to take place. So if you got to cry, cry.
What you think, man?
I think there's a time and a place. Like, I was watching one of the shows, Married at First Sight, and his dog died or something, and I felt like he was crying every 2 seconds, and I'm just like, I'm tired of you crying. Like, just suck it up kind of thing. So I think there's times where men can be overly emotional, and to me, if you, just like Mary said, you're the head, I don't want to see you crying all the time. Like, you don't need to cry as much as I'm crying. We don't need to be like sharing. That's not it. But I think what it's appropriate, it's like what Bub is saying. It's like when it's deep down. Well, first of all, there's sometimes physical. I can understand. I mean, you break something, yeah, you probably are going to cry. And that happens. That's okay. But if you just stubbed your toe, no, you're not going to cry about that. Or you're playing back and forth. No, you're a boy or whatever. You don't need to be crying about these little things. But if you break your arm, things of that nature, I think that's what it is. We need to sit here and say, when is it appropriate time to be crying in these situations? Just like Bub said, somebody happened to me, my wife, this, that, those are the only times where I would be crying, and probably wouldn't be in front of everybody. It'll be in private with the people that I trust and things of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not crying. I don't give a fuck. My arm fall off. I'm not crying for that. That's stupid.
At all or in public? Which one, Camp?
At all. Why?
Oh my God.
You should cry.
I broke a bunch of, see, I already tested this theory. I tore my shoulder. I had to go to the hospital. I gave a speech. Adrian started crying during the speech. I didn't. I just went to the hospital.
I was emotional. I'm like, damn, that's the boy.
Yeah, so no, I'm not crying for physical pain, but I don't think it's okay for us to cry. But the examples Bub gave, I understand and it's acceptable. I've cried in instances like that. You know what I mean? But I cried in front of my wife one time. One of my mans got killed, but I try to guard against that though. I wouldn't recommend men do that in front of their wives, even though it is their wife, but because there's a particular level she should always see you at. Vulnerability is okay, but only to an extent for a woman. I don't know if subconsciously women want you to be all that vulnerable. And maybe men have had mental health issues forever because we just started this crying bullshit. The men of yesteryear definitely wasn't crying. And I don't know if they was, I don't know the research if they was killing themselves or depressed at the same rates. We probably don't have those statistics, but I know they definitely wasn't crying.
You know? So where's the safe space at in being totally vulnerable? Because I believe, so a couple of y'all said it already. Women said, I think Mary and Isha said it. I was not allowed to cry. My mom, shut that up, stop crying, being a little baby. And I'm like, okay. But that created a hardness to me. And that created the hardness. I've since let that go, and I'm still working on letting that hardness go. But it created a hardness in me because I am naturally like a big old softie, and I cry. What are you laughing at?
Oh, no, I'm just thinking about the red flags. Go ahead, my fault. Go ahead. I ain't even say nothing. You asked me, so go ahead.
I said what I said. But it creates a hardness. So if you're creating that wall up around you to where you can't be vulnerable within a safe space with that safe person, how do you let love in and out or joy in and out if you create that hardness around you?
There's room for that. There's room for that. There's room for it. I don't think that closes you off, but it's just that we don't have, maybe with each other, we may be able to be a little bit more vulnerable. So if I'm talking to Bub about something, if I'm talking to Adrian, we might get a little bit more like, you know what I mean? I trust them to where I can be like, no, son, and if it come out. Like I would feel more safe. But with your woman, I feel like there's still that level. You know what I mean? Because I'm the protector. Because why people say cry for help. Crying is a cry for help. Like they cry because they want or need. You know? So I kind of look at it from that lens. Like I ain't just crying because I'm not asking for shit.
Of course. I'm happy. I am so overjoyed that you sat there and said you'll cry amongst your boys. So you do have a safe space. I don't care. As long as you have a safe space is all that matters, because mental health is very important. And if you can't let it out, that's a problem. You're going to create stress. And that's why
Yeah.
I'll be dying out early, because you can't let your stresses out in a healthy way. So that's awesome. The other side
Now
of
I'm
that,
saying that, Asia, to be fair, I'm saying that I don't know if we ever got to that point before, but I'm just thinking, you know what I mean? I never really tested. Potentially. Matter of fact, me, Dre, and Sean had a session one time. I didn't get there, but some, your brother, he cried, baby, but
you know what? Don't, sir.
I feel like there's other outlets. Like it doesn't, a release of that type of energy doesn't always require a cry. You get what I'm saying? Like I feel like there's other things that people can tap into within themselves that don't require a cry. Like again, like me personally, like I'm not an emotional person. So it's just like if I feel like I'm gonna cry, like I start doing like a bunch of shit, like just random shit, like around the house or with my kids or things like that. Like I feel like with men, it's the same thing. Like with my husband, like he has a lot of hobbies. So like if he's frustrated or he's hurt, like he starts doing a bunch of shit, whether it's working on his truck, working on the dirt bikes. You know what I'm saying? Like just working on other, like his other hobbies. Huh?
Do you think do you think when you guys do that, it's more of a distraction instead of processing what's causing that emotion?
No, I honestly don't feel like it's a distraction. It's just that you don't have to physically cry. It can still be a release because your mind is still processing certain things. You're still having that time to yourself to be able to think about what's going on. So it's still processing things, but not in an emotional way where you're physically crying.
How do you
like
release
Char said, I don't think a woman want to see her man crying all the time over every fucking little thing.
Who wants
not all the time? No.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is having that safe space.
It's still a safe space, but people got to understand that your safe space ultimately is going to be within yourself. It's not going to be with other people. Your safe space needs to be within yourself. So
it can always be internal, though.
Huh?
It can always be internal. It can always just be. You can't talk to yourself and just internalize.
Why not
all the time?
Why not?
Because we are social beings. Like we are social
You're
beings.
the only person that knows you 100%. So why can't you discuss with yourself and think about within yourself what is going on with you?
Because you don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers.
Why would you not have all the answers for yourself?
Because you don't know everything, right? You could be siloed, you could be focused, and then you can miss things going on around you. I mean, that's just natural.
But if you're talking about yourself personally, like I have a degree in mental health. So with me doing that, like I'm able to separate certain things within myself to be able to what's the word?
Compartmentalize.
Yeah.
But you don't have all the perspectives though, Mary. So you just have one perspective or maybe two that you could see, but there's probably a third and a fourth.
But that's if it has to do with anybody else. But if it has to do with strictly myself, then it's fine.
Especially yourself is where you need to.
We have more confidence with ourselves than we do with other people have.
Because to me, if I talk to anybody else, it's going to be my therapist. Other than that, I'm with them.
Right, yo, let's bring it back to the men though, because it ain't really about y'all right now, the women.
And I have a question too, Mary. If your husband cried around you, would you think he was weak?
No, I don't. Actually, the first time he cried around me, it took 4 years. It wasn't. I didn't think he was weak. I actually kind of felt refreshed that he felt that comfortable around me. So it was refreshing for me because he's not an emotional person, just like me. He's not an emotional person in that way. Like he knows how to show emotion, but he doesn't cry. So for him to be able to get to that point around me, it was refreshing for me.
Yeah, that's good.
No, yeah.
Well, were you about to say something in particular?
Yeah, like as I started, coming into like adulthood, like manhood. Cause I'm like a fucking rock. I'm like a rhino. Like I can't hold shit in. So what I did, don't take this the wrong way. I don't go to therapy, and I ain't never going to therapy. So peep game. Anything I felt, like that ever hurt me that I consumed in my brain or my body that I felt like could potentially affect me in growth and adulthood. What I did was I addressed those issues with the individuals that caused those issues with me face on. When I say face on, I either got it out face to face when I saw them, or if I spoke to them, if we was on the phone or anything like that, I got it off my chest. I got it out of me. So I wouldn't consume all that negative energy where it could cause me to do some funny style shit later on in life or slip up or be like wild emotional or do some dumb shit. I got it out directly. So point in like like let's say like a child, right? And I'm not saying this ever happened to me. I'm just giving like a wild example. Let's say a child got molested, right? During their younger years. They gonna carry that shit with them until they're an adult. If they don't tell nobody, or if they tried to tell somebody and nobody believed them, I feel like you gotta get that shit out. The person that did that shit to you, don't keep that shit in you because it's gonna fuck you up and fuck up the person you could potentially be with later on in life. You better call that person, or if you see that person face to face, you handle that shit. I don't give a fuck where you're at. You handle it right then and there. Get it out. So it's not tearing you up inside, where it could come out at a later date at the wrong time. Get that shit out. Dead ass. Any issues I ever had with family members, mothers, fathers, sisters, grandfathers, grandmother, anything, I got that shit up out of me because I didn't want it to affect me later on in life. You know what I'm saying? And I wake up every day feeling refreshed. I don't have no regrets, nothing, because I know I got that shit off my chest. You know what I'm saying?
The fact that this is even a question denotes that at a time it wasn't okay. It was perceived it was not okay for men to cry. Because the question isn't, is it okay for women to cry? It's like a given. Of course, we cry, whatever. But the fact that is it okay for men to cry, and it's even a question in society, men weren't allowed to. And I think a lot of it manifests itself, all the frustration, like I say, manifests itself in premature death, abuse of themselves and others. I think that then it got passed down through the generations. Don't cry because you'll be seen as weak. And I think that we need to teach emotional intelligence just like we teach other subjects in school, because a lot of people are not emotionally intelligent, and a lot of people don't know how to get out what their thoughts are and how they feel. Because we said it throughout tonight, overly emotional people are overly emotional because they don't know how to express their emotions in a healthy fashion. So they blow up and they come out in a weird or negative way. I'm laughing because Adrian's asleep.
Hey, Asia, I ain't gonna hold you though. My son ain't gonna be crying and shit like that. I'm not. I'm perpetuating it because I know it's safer that way for him.
And why
it's
is it
unsafe for him to be out here crying and all? Like, when people see you as weak as a man, that shit changed the whole trajectory.
So you do consider that weak when a man cries?
It is.
So I'm gonna be very transparent with y'all, right? I'm gonna be super duper transparent and tell a bit of my business. I have a son. He's 28. And I felt that way, the same way I feel. I did. I regret it. I didn't allow him to cry because I felt that the world would see him as weak. And I regret that because for a while, he didn't know how to express himself in a healthy way. Now that he's gotten older, he went through his process. And I believe he's gone through some, able to express himself better. But that caused him to shut down and not be able to articulate anything. And that's why I'm a big proponent of allowing your kids, I'll say men because it's happening right now, your boys to express themselves. They want to express themselves with a tear. Let them do that. It's not weak. Now, like I said, crying all the time about every little bitty thing. No, there's always a balance. Let's be balanced in our conversations. But I would go back and I would change that. That's one thing I would definitely change. Raising my son.
But like my thing is like, why is crying supposed to be the release? Like why does it have to be crying? Like why can't
he expressed himself? Because and when he was younger, like I said, when I was raising him, not as a grown man, when he was younger, he would be upset and he expressed himself. Because he, if you get mad, real mad, you cry, but you don't know how to say it while you're angry. And instead of talking to him, explaining to him, okay, you're angry. Let's talk this out. Let's say why you mad. Don't cry. I just said that. Don't cry. I should have sat there and went further and sat there and said, use your words. Use your words and why you're angry, or use your words why you're upset, so we can process this in a healthy manner. And so I just immediately sat there and said that because I thought about how Ham said it. That was my way of thinking. Don't cry at all. Don't do it. People see you as weak. And I didn't want him to go out there in the world being seen as weak and being upon. But I should have went a step further. And that was
because with my sons, like, I'm gonna tell you, don't cry because I can't understand you when you're crying. Talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. To me, when it comes to anybody, like, why is crying the release? Stop crying. Shut the hell up because I can't hear you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get annoyed when people cry. That's me. And that could be, because of how I was raised. But I get annoyed. I can't hear shit you saying when you crying. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you to still communicate how you feel so we can.
I don't feel safe. You saying the same thing? Shut up, stop crying. I don't feel safe around you anymore.
But why is that not safe? If crying, to me, crying is not going to accomplish nothing. What is crying going to do?
You have to let that person get it out first. Let them express it in that way, and then I can talk. But you sitting there saying, stop crying, shut up. I'm like, I don't feel safe to express myself around you right now.
My kids know, shut the hell up. That don't have nothing to do with nothing. Crying is what you're physically doing. Talk to me, because nothing's going to get resolved. If you sit there and cry, what are you resolving sitting there crying? You're not even thinking or processing what's going on. You're not even thinking about what's going on. You're not processing what's going on. You're literally just having water come out your eyeballs. You're not doing anything in that process.
Yeah, we are having water come out our eyeballs, but it's an emotional response, though. So the water coming out of our eyeballs is an emotional response.
But again, with that physical emotional response, I need something to follow up. So if you're just sitting there crying, why are you crying? Like, talk to me.
So would you rather someone sit here and go ahead and tear up a room instead of a cry? Because that's more of an appropriate response.
The other option is to communicate and talk about why you're upset.
But I'm also saying that sometimes because they're unable to cry, what she's trying to say is like an immediate response. The other immediate response, instead of, because they say, hey, I'm not supposed to cry, I'm going to throw something instead, which is also,
you're not thinking. You need to think about things and process them.
But when you are having a moment, you're not thinking. You just said you sometimes just talk out your mouth, right? And it just happens. It just comes out. But that's the same thing with emotions and things that happen. It just comes out. And so you're saying my first emotion, which is a tear to come to my eyes, I'm not supposed to have that. So now I have to go to something else, which is usually not communication, because that calls you to stop and think, which is not something that is happening. So instead, what we see instead of boys crying, we see a whole bunch of anger issues that pops up, which is throwing things and pushing things. And you're like, why is this happening? And that's because they are unable to express themselves in that immediate moment. And the next immediate thing that they can do is to be throwing things around the room.
But that's why you teach them that, listen, your immediate reaction needs to be for you to stop and think. Just stop what you're doing and think about it. Because regardless which way it goes, you can be crying for 7 fucking hours and still not know why you're crying.
Well, I think that's also an extreme too. We're not talking about someone who's going to be crying for 7 hours, but we are talking about just, what are you saying, Asia?
So I'm talking about like my initial response, I'm upset, right? I'm hurt. Let me cry. Give me my 5 minutes if I need that, right? But if within my 5 minutes I'm getting yelled at and saying, "What are you crying about? Let's just talk." I'm not gonna, because that's an expression too. Crying is an expression, and by my initial expression is the tears. Let me get my 5 minutes out and then say it. But if I feel I'm not even in a safe space to express myself, because that's a part of my expression, I'm shut down completely. So yeah, crying for 7 hours is denoting depression or something. That's a long time. But I'm talking about crying 5-10 minutes. Give us that space. Give someone that healthy, normal space is what we're talking about.
But my thing is,
forget kids though. Forget kids. How much crying is too much crying for men, for y'all men?
Like my thing is like it's not about you. My thing is like it's not about you. My thing is I'm dealing. If I'm talking about kids, I'm talking about kids that are not understanding.
Can we get it off the kids though?
But that's what I'm saying. Like if we're talking about, are we talking about kids or are we talking about men?
I'm talking about adults.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much crying?
Statement stays the
How
same.
much crying is too much crying for the women that have men?
That's a good question, and I don't want to regulate anybody's emotions.
I think it depends on what you're crying about.
What you're crying about. So if you're crying because you stubbed your toe, that's too much. Now stop it. Like I stub my toe all the time, child. I'm not crying about that. If you're crying because your feelings are hurt, there's an emotional response from a hurt feeling, whatever that reason is, cry about that. But I also want us to talk about that too. Don't just cry out of anger and then nothing gets resolved. You don't talk about it. You just cry and then you just stay mad and don't talk about it. No, let that be the initial release. Then let's have a conversation about it so it can be resolved and addressed. Don't cry because and then there'll be no resolution afterwards. And if you always crying and ain't no talking going on, I'm gonna get annoyed because again, I cry, but I'm a communicator. Communicate with your words too. So what I said earlier, I'm meant towards men. I'm not crying all the time. I sit there and be like, we need to talk. And if I feel myself getting teared up, I may stop it because that will derail the conversation. Don't use that as manipulation either. Oh, don't cry, baby. To a grown person, don't do that.
And that's where everybody different because me personally, if I cry, it's a warning because I'm about to spaz out. You get what I'm saying? If I start crying, I'm about to spaz out.
Oh, Mary,
we don't want to hear about y'all crying.
Yeah, man.
We don't want to hear about y'all crying.
No, I'm talking about a man. I'm talking about a
man.
No,
I know. Yeah, Asia, you answered the question.
I think crying is healthy, but if a man is crying because his feelings is hurt, that's too much crying for me.
I think that's like Bub's example. I think it should be when warranted, when need be. So we know that it's meaningful times to cry and that we can appreciate that moment when you do cry because it doesn't happen and you're being vulnerable and things of that nature. We're not crying all the time, not once a month. We're not maybe once a year. I mean, would be great, but it really depends on, like I said, the situation. And I think the situations that Bub had said, I think are appropriate.
Yeah.
Someone dying, something happened to your wife, something happened to your kids, things of that nature.
Yeah. Because some niggas just be crying for no reason.
No, when I saw that show, I was like, if he cries one more, he was a black man too, a tall black man.
I know what you're talking about, Shar. I watched it with my wife, and I hate him.
He kept crying. I said, if he cries one more time, and the girl was just so understanding. I just like, oh my God.
I can't stand when women crying. I just want to call out the fact that there's still a parameter for men crying. We talk about all this expression, and you want him, but he can't cry. It has to be very finite when he cries, which is a total contradiction. That's why I'm going with the old school. My son better not don't come in his house crying. You got 5 sisters, nigga. Let them do the crying.
No. My baby can cry, okay?
No, he ain't. He gonna say,
if
but
he
daddy,
he's gonna cry.
I'm gonna say, your mommy's a girl.
That's your toxic
and I think that's the reason why you're supposed to have a mom and a dad, to be able to have that balance. When you're around me, you can cry.
Unless you got Mary as a mom. She can do the same.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you one.
I ain't with none of that shit.
1 minute to cry, and then you gonna sit here and tell me what we need to go on and keep it moving.
Listen, we could talk about it, but if you got tears in your eyes, you come to me, wham. Listen, shut that shit up. I can't hear you.
I would suggest you not cry when you're around your daddy. That's a whole different story. But when you and me, I'll give you 1 minute.
Well,
and we keep it going.
So so if your son comes to you and says, "Dad," now not even a little kid, I'm talking about as a teenager or a man, "Dad, this is what happened to me."
What
and
happened
he's
to him?
crying. His friend got shot. Dad, I don't know how to process this. And he's crying and saying, "What do I do?" You're not going to sit there and tell him, dry them tears up and cut it out. Don't cry in front of me. You're not going to do that.
No, we would process the situation out.
But you would allow him those tears, though. You would have to allow him those tears.
In a way, though. But I'm not going to be like, let it out. Like, that's not going to be how I would guide that. Right? I would kind of go down to the path where Mary was saying, like, let's solve. Let's understand, why did this happen? Absolutely. Are we actually surprised? What was your friend into? What are you doing when you have said friends, right? What do we need to depart from, right? Why do you feel as such? So like, even when I do homework and stuff, like with London, like I will go stay on the same example and say it over, and I got patience like that. Charnice in the corner trying to give her the answers in sign language. No, nigga, we staying right here. And I will ask the same shit over and over, you know what I mean? To where they get to it themselves.
I'd start to get up off the table at that point. I'm like, girl, you on your own. Yeah.
But because she'll learn it at that point. You know what I mean? Because there's like no help, you know? And so with that, we would process it to where he gets understanding.
Would you tell him that it's okay to cry? So you wouldn't stop his tears. So, for example, I gave the example of his friend getting shot and killed, whatever. What if he came home and his girlfriend or his fiance?
That's two different things.
He did. Okay, his fiance, fine. I don't think it really matters, but okay.
He ain't crying over that shit.
His wife.
I think there's difference. Girlfriends, I don't think we need to be crying over girlfriends because his
wife.
But
his
you know,
wife.
as a kid, but to Asia's point, in high school, you think your girlfriend is gonna be the person you're gonna be with forever in high school.
Yeah,
so
well, you don't get no sympathy
I
from me.
didn't say teenager.
No, but Asia, I'm saying even if he was a teenager, right? You know, you don't know. You just know what you know.
I'm a grown man, and
I'm the mama. He did not stop crying.
I said wife 5 times. He comes to you. His wife cheated on him.
Oh.
He's coming crying to you.
I said,
are you going?
Go ahead.
You're gonna let him cry. You're gonna let him cry. You're gonna let him cry. Obviously, process his feelings, or you sit there and say, "No, we don't cry about this kind of thing."
Nah, that's somebody. From my frame of mind, somebody should be getting deleted already. So I'm trying to figure out why you would here with me.
Wrong question.
Like that's like you don't need to be crying. You need to be deleting. That's what you need to be doing.
Like you printed out them divorce papers or something.
No, it's worse than that.
He's not allowed to cry about that. He's not allowed to
promote the violence.
Dirt trails, church bells, and slow songs.
So he's not allowed to cry.
But all right, but yeah. So if he come to me, that hurts. That's gonna be deeper than anything. I don't even know if he's gonna not be able to cry. You know what I mean? If he's actually invested. You know, that's the worst thing that could happen to a man. So, you know what I mean? Like if he was crying in that instance, I could empathize.
Okay.
Cry forever. You got to do something about it. I'm your dad. We could do it together.
I was you said that. But there's 2 reasons why you can come to an adult and cry. Okay, there's 2 reasons.
Yeah, you can't. Like Bub said, your wife, your kids, you know, death.
Your son comes to you and says, "My best friend betrayed me." I'm not saying cheated with his wife. I'm saying he betrayed me. My best friend betrayed me. He's my best friend. He's like a brother to me. He betrayed me. He's coming to you with tears in his eyes. Is it okay for him to cry about a betrayal from a friend?
He gotta suck that up.
I feel like there's like certain
Mary, man, right here, man.
I'm gonna move myself.
Yeah, he gotta suck that up. You know what I mean? It hurts.
Over this.
Fuck
No.
you. 3 hours in and shit. This is crazy.
Emotional.
Don't worry, Dad. Dad, this is the last go round, so just make it. Make it.
He had
I'm glad.
3 hours
glad.
last
I appreciate it. I'm gonna cut that part out, and I'm gonna grade Jazz body out. Every time she talks, it's gonna be a clown sitting there.
I'm so sorry. I thought we were on mute. God damn, Shardy.
See your own people, Asia. Niggas betray. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, it's hard, but you can't put nothing past a lot of people, unfortunately. So but he would have to suck that up though. Like at the end of the day, that's some man shit.
He only cried to you about 2 things. Okay, I'm just want to know.
Yeah, definitely case by case, but I'm like, yo, bro, cause this shit ain't easy,
And no broken shoulders. He can't come to you about a broken shoulder. He can't cry about that either, right?
Nah, for what?
Okay. You just got to walk around like Terminator and RoboCop. Okay.
Yeah, he don't give a fuck.
Bones
Broken
in.
fingers, all
Right.
that shit. Don't cry for that shit. That's corny.
Wait, Terminator. Okay.
Listen,
Yep.
it's our job to mold the reality for these kids. Like shit happens, betrayal, all that. Like it's our job to mold the reality for these kids.
Well, this is the reason why boys need to be raised by men. Shit, you know what I mean? So what? A woman can't raise no man. Can't raise a boy.
There's some men that can't raise a man either.
Oh my God! Here go with the some people.
There are men out there that are abusive, and they should not be raising boys either.
Have you seen our Have you seen our people?
Our niggas. That's
yeah. Have you seen the niggas that been getting raised by women? Are you shitting me? Y'all been fucking us over for a long time. Come on, stop. Let's not do that. Come on, man.
I also know men that have been raised by men that are abusive, and they're abusive to themselves and to others because they don't know what love is. They weren't nurtured.
No, we are mostly raised by women.
Women are abusive too.
Yeah,
But I'm going to what he was saying because he sat there and said, because I raised a son, right? But what I'm saying is I don't sit there and think that his father would have been, even though he did help raise him. We had joint custody. Nick was abusive. And I'll sit there and say it from mountaintops. He knows he's abusive. And I think that when men are abusive to their kids, that's not a good environment to raise them up in.
Listen.
Abusive to their kids or abusive to the mother of their children.
Both.
A lot of times people
to both. He was abusive to both.
Because a lot
Have
of
you seen the statistics? Have you seen the statistics, right? On single parent households when it's only a mom. Do you see how well the kids don't do? So we just saying point blank period. Boys need to be raised by men.
That's not always the case.
I know it's not all don't mean all, right? But you can't, the sums is not what we're talking about. Our single parent households overwhelmingly do poorly. And they're ran by women.
Single parent males too, or single parent women kill a lot of men.
Women.
Because when you say single parents, I'm assuming you mean women.
Women. Because this is actual facts, but you know that already.
I'm asking you a question. So single parent men households raise better sons or daughters?
Yes, men raise sons. I think men can be more successful raising a girl than a woman could raising a boy.
Absolutely.
Child. Okay.
That's
I understand.
Listen, I understand. Teach a man to be a man. Period. I can't. I'll be the first one to say I tried. I cannot teach a man to be a man. So,
what do you think, Ichi?
I actually agree. I think because men are naturally heads, their children just listen to them. So they set order and they set tone, and children follow. So,
what you think, babe?
I agree. I can't even get my own daughters to listen to me. I can't even imagine what my son's going to be able to do.
What you think?
I'm saying, hold on. I need because I will not be the person sitting there saying I think that single mothers are better than single fathers. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there are men out there. It's not always the case that should be raising children. Like I'm
But
going.
that's the case for everything. There's mothers out there shouldn't be mothering. There's so I think that we can't really say that, Asia, because of course that's
I'm agreeing with that. I'm totally agreeing with that. I'm going to Hamp's point. He sat there and said, that's why men should raise boys. I'm like, that's not always the case. That's not always the case.
But we know that though.
But I agree. I'm just putting out there my clarifying statement. I agree.
All doesn't mean all, but
healthy, quality man, yes, needs to raise his boys.
What about these women that ain't quality? They still raising kids?
They shouldn't be raising kids either. Absolutely not. They're more than
moms.
But you see how what I said is obvious, and it just, when I say it, it's like, why are you even saying that?
Because
right?
No. No. We are made. I'm making every statement. Women shouldn't. Some women are abusive and should not be raising kids either. It's a no. They abuse kids too. Your statement was about, so I addressed the men part. Why would I address what you say?
I'm saying that we agree that boys should be raised by men.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
And you're saying some fathers are trash.
And some women are trash too.
Thank you.
I clarify. That was my clarifying statement.
I'm just saying, Captain Obvious. Like, we know.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah, man. And Ish, what up though?
What's up?
You don't get poked in the eye by one of them bangs too. I want you to know.
It's 12:47 though.
Damn, man. Look at Jasmine. Look, she's trying not to say nothing crazy. Go ahead, Jazz. What you gonna say?
I agree with everything that everybody said. I think men should raise the men as long as they can. Do it the right way, Al.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
All right, cross-eyed ass. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Hey, listen, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. It's been an awesome show. We have a lot of fun chopping this shit up for sure. Listen, man, I don't really like Jerry Springer, but I do fuck with one of his constructs. Asia. Final thought.
Women's voices and lives matter.
Adrian.
I don't even know, y'all. Yeah, we go back and listen to the clip, man. Watch the clips that Hamp put out. It's a lot of good information. Oh, something that Hamp said, y'all. Try to leave every conversation just knowing a little bit more. Always be open to receive and better yourself.
Word. Mary?
Be open to understanding. Everybody's point of view is not going to be the same, but also make sure you stand on what you believe and what you feel is right.
Bob?
Yo, any of my fellas out there listening or watching this platform, if y'all want to holler at Asia or Asia, y'all make sure y'all DM this might be risky, or leave it in the comments. If you think you could get them to fall in line and you want their credentials, just hit them up, let them know. You know what I'm saying? Because we trying to get them linked up and get their, lives.
That's Eddie right there.
Yo, Bob saluted.
Jazz, go ahead. What's your final thoughts?
I like hearing people's views. Hopefully everybody was able to receive everybody's views, even with all the sound effects coming off in the background, cutting folks off and everything. Niggas still have something to say. But anyway, yeah. I'm about to be single out here too. So I mean, message if you feel it. I don't know.
Man.
I'm really bad with these final thoughts. I need more practice. I go blank.
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get him out of here.
I don't have anything to say. Take it off.
Hey, don't embarrass me. Say something.
I will say I think it's important to listen to understand, but also make sure that you're listening to your spouse, because you don't want to go a long time without hearing the other side. so you don't cause resentment. That's my final thought.
Yeah, man. I just want to say I learned a lot from you guys, even throughout not listening, people listening, getting understanding, all that good stuff. But I think we hit on a lot of topics that were dope. Even though Asia spins this shit, we always spin it into something that's pretty valuable. I still want to know if a good man's a dangerous man. Maybe we'll get to that one day. Listen, man, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we out.